Welcome back to the best division in football with Awthentik and the Beard, presented by All or Nothing Studios. What's up, team? Thanks for tuning in to our Tuesday recap show. We only got two NFC East games to recap, the Sunday night and the Monday night game. I hope all our fans out there went and exercised their civic duty and cast a ballot today. Presidential election that is today. NFL trade deadline was also today at 4 p.m. Not a very exciting one, but a deadline nonetheless. Deadlines come. That's just how it happens. Elections happen as well. We are going to talk about the two NFC East games. We're also going to talk about the little trades that did happen, touch on some other stuff going on around the league. Authentic man, super tough loss last night for your G-men, albeit with some positives. We'll talk about how you feeling today, though.
Man, I'm feeling terrible, bro.
Terrible.
Same clothes from yesterday. Literally woke up, played some video games trying to take my mind off that L, man. I mean, that's the second consecutive loss like that, man. The Giants, we've been in it, and I think, like, that's what makes it really hurt, man. You know, I heard a statistic talking about 4 games within a score, 7 games within 10 points. I mean, come on, man. The Giants have been playing with some of the best teams, 2 of the top defenses in this league, hanging in with them and can't find a way to get the W, man. It's painful. I know my Giants team is just weeping today, and it's been a tough start to the week.
I saw that stat about you guys being in 6 of your 7 games this year, you know, like within 1 touchdown or 1 possession at least. Like, man.
Yeah, minus that 49ers game, man. The Giants really been in it. And shout out to my man Bad Dog. He released a video last week saying that the Giants were the best team in the division. But when you can't close out games, that's, you know, we got to have that little asterisk right next to that Giants team.
Against Tampa Bay, though, you know, against one of the better teams. But I understand what you're saying. You close out games, you got to close out games regardless of who's on the field you're playing against. The Beard, right. Man, I saw you had a live vintage sale last night on your Over the Years channel. I came in for a minute, popped in. It was way over my head. I didn't really know what was going on. It seemed like a good time. You had a lot of people in there. How'd that go?
Yeah, it was good, man. It was dope. You know, the channel is actually, I think, Over the Years YouTube channel is, I believe, 7 people away from hitting 2,000 subscriptions.
Yeah, I saw that, man. Congratulations, bro.
Getting close on that. Yeah, the live sale was lit last night. I think we had about 77 people in there. So that was dope. We sold 38 items. And so, yeah, it was pretty dope. But I had a lot of new people, which was awesome, you know, like, so words getting out in the vintage community. So that was really dope. And then, you know, got up. What was that?
Is that how it happens? Is it word of mouth?
I mean, word of mouth is always, in my opinion, word of mouth is always, you know what I'm saying, the #1, like, marketing tool, even in today's age of technology. So if you're watching this right now, make sure you tell all your friends. But yeah, I mean, like, for me, it's just kind of crazy because, you know, like, I got out into this, you know, YouTube thing doing the reselling stuff, and, like, you know, shout out to Tracy, who's in here right now. Like, Tracy and Tommy, who be in the chat here sometimes too, they really, like, gave me, like, the plug. They put me on to, like, the reselling community. So, you know, for me, translating into the vintage community has been, you know, a little bit more different. But now people are starting to get word about me. So, you know, I'm making my way over to that crowd, which is dope. But, yeah, shout out to Tracy, who's in the chat right now. You know, she's got an amazing channel. Her and Tommy do a show on the Tommy Bernard channel on YouTube. It's real dope. I think they're doing it live tonight too, so that's what's up. You guys should check them out.
Check them out.
That's the link to Tim's channel right there.
Appreciate that. And then, you know, like, tonight, I'm just kind of, you know, after this, I want to give a shout out to Josie's mom. If Josie's watching right now, Josie's my girlfriend. Josie's mom, you know, I'm probably going to be watching the election results with Josie and her folks. And Josie's mom, you know, Maria's Kitchen is what we call it, but she be throwing down the bomb meals, the Dominican meals. So
it's always Dominican food, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, she cooks everything, but you know, like, I gotta give her some love. Like, they take really good care of me over there. You know, I got nothing but love for them. So I'm excited to watch the results of the election. But enough about me. Let me say some hellos to the people in the chat.
Facts.
My man David, first person in the building. He is ready. He had to go get some protein and get himself, you know, nice and ready for this New York Giants recap.
That's from Sticks 32. He was here 30 minutes before we started. I love it.
Papa Homewood in the building. What's good, sir? How are you doing today? Lax 044, another early one in the building. Shout out to Ahuma, because Ahuma saw me on on Facebook, and I told him we got something we're going to talk about today, and I told him I can't tell him what I think. He has to tune in today. So shout out to Ohuma for showing up. Joseph, what's going on, brother? And I agree with you. Your team does not play like a 1-7 team.
Facts. That's big facts. Giants Nation in the building.
Waterfly is in the building for sure.
Hey, I saw you in, I think it was Entertainers Chat. You did say that. You was like, how much did you pick against the spread or whatever? Yeah, I got that right. And I was picking the Bucks in that game, hoping that the Giants would pull it out. I was telling one of my homies, one of my best friends about it. And in first half, we were feeling great, man. We were feeling super good about it.
Looks
and
good.
Shout out to Giant Opinion Sports, always showing some love.
Big facts.
And our resident Cleveland guy, Tim, Glock 30 fan, is in the building
Glock?
For sure. So thank you to everybody that definitely just subscribed to the channel. I see y'all in here. Joe Deals, Chicago Bears fan, is in the building. Oh yeah, see he's got a little thing. He's hip to what we're going to talk about
facts.
too.
Yep. Yeah,
oh,
we're going to get to that for sure.
Josie is here, and Josie said
What up,
her mom
Josie?
is listening. So
digging the new hairdo, Josie. The hairdo was looking fly last night on the live.
Josie came into the live fresh from getting the hair did. So
laid.
She knew she had to go live that night. She was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get on that camera."
So yeah, thank you to everybody who's watching us right now on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch.
Did you highlight this one yet?
Periscope. Oh no, I did.
That's good.
Hispanic moms don't like many people.
No
when
lie.
they do, they love you.
Facts.
No lie.
Major facts, yo.
You eat good every time you show up to the house.
You
You hungry?
know it.
You hungry? I am hungry. I'm actually always hungry.
Yup.
Thank you. I will take a plate. All right, you ready to get into these recaps?
Let's do it.
Do it.
Let's start with the Sunday night disaster game. We actually called this one live. Man, it was tough to get through this whole game. I tell you what. Dallas Cowboys fell to the equally inept Philadelphia Eagles. It was 23-9. Philly moves to 3-4-1 on the year now. They're still in first place. Dallas falls to 2-6. How the mighty have fallen. I mean, you lose your starting quarterback. I feel you. But, man, they went from a contending team to maybe as bad as the Jets. This was more of a Shakespearean tragedy than a football game, if you wanted to talk about it that way. Carson Wentz did his absolute best to try to gift the game to the Dallas Cowboys. He had his worst game of the season by far. 4 total turnovers, 2 INTs, 2 fumbles lost. He only had 123 passing yards. He did have 2 touchdowns. He did win the game. But for a team that's getting back these guys injured, you would have wanted to see a dominating performance by Philly. And they were like 1 possession away from giving the game to Ben DiNucci. He started his first career game for Dallas. Talk about a sad state of affairs. I mean, the kid's got heart. He was ready to go. He went out there first thing, smacks his helmet 9 times. He was fired up. Didn't look that good on the field. He's got kind of a weird sidearm delivery. His accuracy wasn't good. He's athletic enough to get out of the pocket, but he was getting sacked. And when he got sacked, he was coughing the ball up. He was 21-40, 180 yards, no touchdowns, and shockingly he had no interceptions, which I can't even believe happened, seeing the way he threw it. But I think his balls were so inaccurate, and when they did go accurate, they were so wobbly and weird, even the defenders had a hard time catching him, is what I'm guessing. He was sacked 4 times, lost 2 of the fumbles. The last one he lost in the fourth quarter was returned for a touchdown, sealed the game for the Eagles. Since Dak Prescott has gotten injured, Dallas has scored 1 touchdown. That's it. 1 touchdown. So this man is counting his money. It's going to come. If Dallas is smart, they'll get him signed now while he's still under anesthesia from the surgery and can go ahead and set that offer. The beard, man. Philadelphia they come in healthier. We were expecting them to come in, dominate. They didn't. Carson Wentz had his worst game of the year, even though he got his weapons back. Does Philly look like they're just out? I mean, is this how they're going to get it the rest of the year? Are they going to have only ugly wins?
Okay, so you know what's crazy is I was thinking about it after we, the one episode where we went over the remaining schedule, and you picked them to win 11 games in a row, and they've done 2 so far of the 11, which is kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy, but if you look at their schedule, like the only good thing is that they play, I think, 3 more NFC East games. Besides really that, their schedule is brutal. I think they have the most difficult schedule of everybody in the NFC East remaining. And it is, look, Carson Wentz, he's super frustrating because we've seen him do what he does, and it's like he literally carries the team on his back, right? But what bothers me about him is sometimes it's just like his brain just goes, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, his decision making is very suspect at times, and he was holding on. We always know, we talk about how he holds on to the ball a little too long, right? But in this game, it was bad. Like, on those two, the one sack where he got the fumble, where he literally was like, looked like a Michael Jordan sign on his back, you know what I'm saying? Like, trying to throw the ball with somebody like on him, and just like, I don't understand that. And
he's so unaware. He doesn't even seem like he processes the blitz when it's within 5 feet of him. I maneuverable. Once it gets within a certain radius, his eyes are so far downfield, he just doesn't acknowledge it.
And I wonder if it's just, like, does he just have this like issue where it's just like, like, he's gotten to this point where he thinks that, like, he's got that in him. He's like, I can get away from anything, sort of mentality, kind of like an older, how Ben Roethlisberger will do it, but has gotten away from, especially this year, And the other thing too is, like, you said it in your opening statement, like, the Eagles should have went out here and absolutely destroyed the Cowboys. And I mean, like, the score doesn't even tell you as how, like, bad it really was. Like, it was a lot worse than this score indicates,
Yeah, and the Cowboys outrushed them. They threw for more yards. They had 4 more first downs, but third down, just off 4 for 16 for the Cowboys on third down. And we know a lot of that's quarterback play. We saw a lot of those plays where Danucci's rolling out the pocket, and he almost looked like he's scooping a ground ball at third base, trying to throw somebody out at first base sidearm underhanded. And you saw it like 2 and 3 times in this game. I mean, have we seen a worse quarterback performance than that?
You said you wanted the pads on you, right? You said you put me out there. You think you could do what he did.
I think I could do better. Man. I think I could do better than that.
I can't remember a performance like that, though, to answer your question. I cannot.
Yeah, right. Like that he didn't look like he could play college ball. He looked like everything in the game was just too fast for him. Everything was just flying by him, pressure coming at him. And he seemed like he had his eyes focused on that line rather than having his eyes down the field and trying to make a play, man. You got to sit in that pocket in the NFL and trust it, Right. And, I mean, I'm glad they're not going to go in with him at quarterback. And I know we heard about Andy Dalton getting COVID. So, that's going to be a thing now.
Look, so they did say that they're going to bring they're trying to bring Cooper Rush up from the practice squad as early as possible. So I'm assuming him starting is definitely on the table. And the Eagles have a bye week, and typically you get the Wednesday off on a bye week, right?
Oh yeah, when you enter the bye week, coach will be like, "Yeah, y'all got the day off." Yeah.
Coach was like, "Nah, y'all got to come in." He was like, "We're practicing because we're not good." And that's the thing, is like, it sounds crazy, and like, I'm saying this realistically, because if you guys don't know by now, like, I don't. Like, I'm a realistic guy. I'm not one of these guys who's like, the Redskins are going to win the Super Bowl. I might ride the line a few times, you know what I'm saying? But that being said, to be perfectly frank, the Washington football team and the New York Giants play on the field like the best 2 teams in the division.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
The Eagles, watching that game was like, what did they say? The needle in the eye?
They did win. You got to give them some credit. They pulled it out.
They won.
And to speak to that, Scotty, I mean, it's like, Washington and New York might be playing the best ball, right? But the Eagles have the quarterback who finishes the best. He plays in the fourth quarter the best, which that entail gets them more wins. Because the Giants look great. They look great in the first halves. They can't close out second quarters. I've been talking about it all year. They cannot close out right before the half, and they can't close out in the fourth quarter. And with the Eagles, at least with Carson Wentz, you got somebody who's going to go out there. He's going to try to make plays. Granted, he's turning the ball over in the first half and looking real ugly in the beginning of games. But, I mean, I think they still got the best quarterback in our division, in Carson Wentz.
I've watched the James Madison football game because
they got multiple championships the last 10 years. They're good.
Yeah, they're really.
I mean,
good,
they are 1 AA.
They're a really good program, for sure. And but look, let's. I mean, the Eagles win the game or did the Cowboys lose the game? I mean, this is the thing. Is like that game should have just ended. They should have just sent them both home.
You heard
It
the
was
stat,
bad.
though.
Come back
It was
again.
bad. It was like hard to broadcast that game. It was just like it was like going to the near high school and watching two teams play and just being like, oh my, I didn't know football was this bad. You know,
The turnovers, look, the Eagles, they can't do that against the remaining schedule they have.
They can't do that against anybody. That's the
gonna
only
get
team that can get
demolished.
away. That's the only
and I
team
mean,
that can do that.
if the Cowboys had anybody who could play quarterback decently, they win that game. I like how they relied on the run with Ezekiel Elliott. You know, they tried to hammer the rock, and they were successful running the ball, but they just couldn't put points up on the board with this quarterback, man. And we know about this defense. You know, they paper thin.
Do you think they shifted away from the run a little bit too much? I mean, they didn't really rely on Janucci, but he did chuck the ball like 25, 30 times, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
throwing
it
it.
seems like late in the game they did get away from the run a bit, but just so many opportunities. Like when I look at the time of possession being pretty equal in this game, the amount of first downs in this game, you know, Miami just won a game with 8 first downs. You know that?
defense.
And
How many
both
points
these-
did they score?
They scored like 20-something. It was like 29, whatever that was, off the 3 turnovers. You know, they did have a
Oh,
fumble
okay.
for a score.
trying
They
to
had a
think how
fumble
you can
return to the
score.
1, and then they had a punt return for a touchdown. You know,
Or big
But, like,
plays too. If you score on the first possession or first play of a possession, boom,
big
you don't
time,
get any
yeah.
first
But
down.
when you see this game and you got 19 first downs by the Eagles, 23 first downs by the Cowboys, you think that this might have been like a barn burner maybe, or somewhere near that, and this game would have been close. For the Cowboys to only put up 9 points with that, I mean, that's crazy to me.
The stat was that no team since 1982 had won a football game with less than 250 yards of total offense, 4 turnovers, and 4 sacks taken. That's exactly what Philadelphia did. They won the game. They took 4 sacks, had the 4 turnovers, and they had 222 yards of total offense.
Yeah, I mean, there's under what? It was under 500 yards total for these teams. That, you know,
Yeah.
that's really bad. And I got a little trivia for you guys.
The Chiefs had like
Because this was Ben
600
DiNucci's.
themselves.
This was Ben DiNucci's first technical start, right?
Yes.
Who's the last rookie quarterback to start and win a game for the Cowboys?
Dak Prescott.
Got Dak here.
Kellen Clemens? I don't know.
That's a better guess. It's Jason Garrett.
Wow.
Kind of crazy, right?
91? What, 91?
Something like
92?
that. Something like that. I saw
That's
that.
crazy.
Now, granted, I usually don't like to take statistics from memes I see on the internet. That one was definitely a meme I saw on the
But
internet.
wait, hold on. I'm confused. The last
50-50.
Yeah,
rookie quarterback to start a game and win, right?
to start and win. That's what I saw today.
Yeah, no, listen. Oh, maybe their first ever start.
Yeah, first start. First start. Come in the game on a first start and win a game.
Okay.
Not rookie to get a win. Yeah.
I was gonna
The
say,
beard,
I'm
even when I'm
confused.
not asking the questions, he's always feeling like, well, that question wasn't posed right.
Rewind that back one
It's all
time.
unfair the whole way we're
Something
doing it.
ain't right, man.
Man, hey, Jalen Reagor though. Jalen
Right.
Reagor looked good.
Yeah,
A couple
he had
Philadelphia
nice
players.
catches.
I mean, obviously, Travis Fulgham did his thing. As always, this guy's like a true stud now. 6 catches, 78 yards, a touchdown. Beard, your boy Jalen Reagor got his first career touchdown just coming off injury. And Boston Scott, who was giving us that advice pregame? Somebody said to throw him in our lineup, and we kind of waffled on it. He had a big
I
game.
had Boston Scott in the lineup
You had-
from the jump. Yeah, I was
But
15
there was
for
somebody
70.
on
He
Twitch.
torched
Somebody
the
on
Giants,
Twitch
man.
stepped in and was like, "Yo, y'all need to start Boston Scott."
Yeah,
We
they were
totally
pushing
botched that lineup because we had the winning lineup and then we went and changed it again.
Yeah, we lunched, but hey, we got to try that again. I want to try that again.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
He looks
Yeah.
good, though. I mean, you think he could be a true, like, 3-down back in the
No.
NFL?
No.
Why?
I think so. I mean, if you got a really good offensive line, but I don't think he's like a standout guy like a Nick Chubb or something like that, where it's like, you know, your line don't got to be that great and he could still get his yards off. But I mean, granted, man, Philadelphia's been banged up crazy. You know, that offensive line is in shambles, bro, and he's still running well. And I like him as a receiver coming out of the backfield. He for a bigger back like that. But he is very compact in a certain way. I know Tim was calling him Darren Sproles, but like a swole version of him.
Yeah, Swoles.
And he
Darren
plays like a small
Swoles.
guy, but he can make those runs in the interior, man, that, you know, he can lower the shoulder and lower the boom. That's what I like about him. But I think he's on the cusp of being a starter, maybe.
It's for the stat line. You see 15 for 70, and that's not super sexy because no
He
touchdown.
probably had some catches though too, right?
But not many. I think he had less than 15 receiving
Two
yards.
catches for 9 yards.
Yeah. So nothing. But if you watch the game, he was the engine that was moving that Philly offense.
Yeah,
So he
4.7
was
yards per carry, man. That's solid for a running back right there.
He was the only
15
one-
carries. If they'd have gave him 20, he'd have got to a dub.
Probably.
Or he'd have got to 100.
They're
Definitely
bad.
got 100.
They're bad.
Yeah, and when we were doing our preview for this game, you know, I was one of the people that was saying, like, I think Dallas really got a shot in this game if they could run the ball with Zeke Elliott. And they committed to that. That was the game plan. But the quarterback play, man, they're struggling. And we talked about they should go out there and make a move, man. Like, Ryan Fitzpatrick could be a trade deadline goes, and, you know, nothing happens. It's kind of crazy.
And look, the play calling was very interesting, too.
Oh, my God. I can't believe we forgot about that.
Because it was like, and when I was doing the stats for the ticker, I was like, at what point did DiNucci throw the ball 40 times? Because for the first 20 plays, it was either a wildcat or double, triple reverse.
There was like 4 reverses in that first half from both teams because Philly was trying to do reverses
I'm like,
too.
man, what is, like, look, now that I think about it, it was like watching a high school game. That's exactly what it was like. So it's like, you know how like when you in high school, you got your best player is not your quarterback, and it's like your running back, and it's just like you treating your quarterback like he plays quarterback for Navy, and he throws the ball like maybe like 5-6 times a game. It was crazy. Funny. Like I mean, like I understand, you know, like you gotta get you know, you gotta figure something out because you got DiNucci in there, right? But at the same time, it's like, yo, you drafted this kid.
Yeah,
He's been here since the beginning of the season.
So the fact that he's been there 10 weeks and looks like that, real quick, I gotta ask both of you, if there's any other option, you take the other option as starting quarterback this week?
At this point, yes.
100%.
Yes.
100%.
How do you think Cowboys fans feel? Do you think they want to see more DiNucci?
No,
I don't think so.
The Cowboys fans want to restart this season.
Yeah, and David said something earlier about they shouldn't sign Dak Prescott because they're in rebuild mode, you know, and I kind of agree with that, you know. I do kind of agree with that.
They're
Tim,
in
you should
trouble.
get this too real quick.
Oh, so as far as gambling goes, we're here in DC, so we have legal gambling under Gambit. But there's a couple of interesting websites. You know, shout out to betopenly.com. They sent us some merch. They sent us some socks. It's a really interesting site where you can make up your own bets against other people. And there's no house, so they only take 1% of the bets, which is a really dope concept. And then I use DraftKings for my daily fantasy. I'm more of a DraftKings guy than FanDuel, but yeah.
Or go to your local casino. You can Google your local casino.
It depends on where you live, really. You know what I'm saying? Because every state got different gambling. Although on the ballot today in Maryland, we were able to vote on adding sports book to gambling in the state of Maryland.
Or if you're looking,
I did see that. There
you go. If you're looking for a bookie and there's like horse racing near you, go to your local horse track and you will find bookies. Right. Multiple sports, also football, baseball, and horses right there that day if you want to do the ponies.
But dude, yes, DiNucci look when you look at it, right? When you look at him standing under center. So for those of you that don't know, like I'm an athlete, right? So like I played a lot of different sports in high school. And
what sport did you play other than you play football and baseball
and basketball?
Yep, and basketball.
Man,
cool. 3 sports.
Deceivingly athletic. I wouldn't say he's athletic. He's deceivingly athletic.
So anyway, so like, but Coach Wyatt, if you're watching right now, Coach Wyatt originally because I didn't play football my freshman year, so. My sophomore year, Coach Wyatt was like, you're going to play quarterback. And I was like, I don't know, Coach. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
that's when the quarterback dreams came from?
I was like, I'm not really like, you know, like I'm a receiver. But you're like, you're too slow to really be. I'm like, wasn't really fast, but I had hands. So they put me at tight end. But they experimented. They're like, all right, we're going to try. I remember it was a preseason scrimmage against Gonzaga. And they put me in at quarterback, right? And look, my feet are just bad. I don't know what it is.
Penguin feet.
But so like I was under center and my feet are like this. Right? I threw a touchdown pass though. I'm not gonna lie. But I mean, Coach against Gonzaga. But Coach Wyatt realized real quick, like, oh, this ain't gonna work. Like,
yeah, this ain't it. This ain't the vibe right here.
You got the leadership. You got an okay arm, you know, but. Nah.
I remember one time in our flag league, you was like, let me play quarterback. I looked at you like, bro, I grew up with you. I know you cannot throw the rock, cuz.
What did Coach Wyatt see in you?
Because of baseball.
Oh, because he could throw a baseball.
Because he coached me, and he was my baseball coach. And like, I played pitcher and first base and outfield.
I played baseball too. Nobody ever was like, you know what, you should probably be starting quarterback for our football team.
It didn't work out. But like that's like looking at him under center, it reminded me of looking at me in that Gonzaga game. Like, he looked out of place.
Yeah, he looked
and
way
it's
out
a
of pocket.
thing, you know me, I love a good underdog story. Like I like to cheer for those guys.
He's an underdog, all right. He
Yeah,
definitely
I'm Rudy's my favorite movie, so it's like, of course I wanted to see DiNucci go at it, but
and
like
Mighty Ducks 2 is probably
Mighty
your second
Ducks
favorite
2,
movie.
there you
remember?
go,
I don't know what they call District 4 or something. They was bad. They was bad. I don't know if you remember the first one. That little hood kid. He was a short.
The two brothers.
No, not the two brothers. Not the picture from Sandlot. I'm talking about the little Spanish kid like Mikey or something. He's only in the first one, but he was like a bully. But he was only like 3 feet tall. Strangest, I swear, it's one of the strangest plots in a movie I've ever seen. And he bumped Gordon Bombay. He bumped Gordon Bombay on his way out of the locker room, like, because he was eating ice cream with the Swedish joint. He was like, "Get out of my way, man." I was like, "Bro, you about this big, cuz."
Relax.
Like, chill out, cuz.
Iceland.
All right.
Iceland.
So
What he said you was eating ice cream with the Iceland babe or something like that.
this is Mighty Ducks #1.
This is 2.
That's 2.
It's
that
knuckle
locked up
puck
2.
time, baby.
Knuckle puck. Yeah, everybody
I rewatched that joint after the Philly loss, and I was showing my girl that movie, man. I was like, it's not as good as I remember. I'm not gonna lie.
It
Some
is.
of that plot, man.
It's still a classic.
It's Keenan Thompson shooting knuckle pucks. It's so
in the
unbelievable.
hood. Like, listen, let me tell you.
They're
After
not
I
in the
saw
hood. There's some
No,
affluent.
he was supposed to be in the hood.
Yeah,
Oh, he was. Yeah,
he
he was
was
shooting
playing
trash cans.
street
No.
hockey.
That's what it was. He's like breaking
Look, let me
windows.
tell you, after I saw that for the first time, I was like, man, I'm about to go outside. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that everybody at that age group, when you saw the knuckle puck, you was at Toys R Us, you bought that plastic puck, that plastic stick.
Facts.
You put the puck on its side and you were like, it's knuckle puck time. Boom. And it never did.
We tried some rollerblading
It
for a
never
little while.
did the little flip thing like how his did,
Yeah,
though.
I remember we tried a phase of street hockey and it never really caught on in the neighborhood. We didn't have
Yeah,
enough kids, and I was
facts.
like, this is weak. Let's play football.
They tried, bro. that movie was probably marketed to people in like, the suburbs and urban cities. Like, we're gonna try to get some more, folks playing hockey and whatnot. Nah, it wasn't like
all
that.
they got at was knuckle puck, right?
Yeah. And you know what else was strange? We ain't gonna get on this Mighty Ducks too long, but dog, when they were the Team USA, the first team they play is Trinidad.
Trinidad Tobago.
What is that? All right, I'm done.
They didn't know, man.
I'm done with
They
the
didn't
Mighty
know.
Ducks, but I seen them they had like tie-dye uniforms. I'm like, who wrote this plot? Cuz who wrote
Yo,
this?
but
I gotta put my laptop in
realistically,
real quick. I'll be gone for 2 seconds.
Got you. Take your time. We gonna linger on this Mighty Ducks for a
okay,
second.
realistically though, they did have I'm pretty sure it's funny you say that because I'm pretty sure that I watched one time they I don't know if it was junior hockey or if it was the actual Olympics, but there are countries in the Olympics like Trinidad Tobago that play
Playing
hockey.
Yeah, man. That's like the Jamaican bobsled team we always talk about too.
Man, and
Shout out to Fabian. You saw his Halloween costume.
it was amazing.
Yeah, that was tight. I was about to say some crazy. I was about to say I ain't got the balls to wear the Jamaican bobsled team uniform because they in the spandex. But nah, bro. Yeah, that costume was classic, yo. That was dope. Definitely.
And look, we'll bring this back really quick because we'll touch on it while we wait for Scott because you did say it. Like, I said this earlier. I said I think that these are the two best teams in the division. So I do think that this game is going to be super important and be a close game. It's going to be interesting, especially after the way that the first game went. Like you guys winning by the 2-point conversion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so it's
and coming off a game where we just lost it on the 2-point conversion too.
And think about how the games have went before to now.
District 5. There you go, Waterfly. You know what's up. You know what's up, man.
It's kind of crazy to think that, the record of the New York Giants could be completely different than what it is right now. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure every game is, you said it, every game is a one-possession game except for the 49ers, right?
I mean, there's 3 games out there that the Giants should have won. I mean, you look at the Eagles game. The Eagles game is a complete collapse. The Cowboys game, there's a complete collapse there in the first half. You know what I mean? They gave us one back with the Washington game with Ron Rivera trying to be a little too gutsy on that 2-point conversion. They gave us one back there. We compete with Pittsburgh. I forget who else was in that mix. What was week 2?
That wasn't Dallas, was it?
Oh, the Rams game. The Rams game comes down to the last play. The Bears was week 2, and we lost by 4 points to the Bears. So it's like, man, these are like really, really, really tough losses to take. when you feel like your team is in the mix and can kind of compete, you know what I mean? But look at this record, 1-7, and you still, 2.5 games out of first place. It makes no sense in a division like this. I mean, I can't believe the NFC East is this bad.
Do you think that the Cowboys, when Andy Dalton comes back, are going to be as bad as they are currently?
Yeah, man. I don't have as much faith in Andy Dalton. I think, the end of his career tells a little bit more of the story of like where he's at right now. That his ending in Cincinnati, people kind of thought he might have had some football left, but I think it's a wrap for him, man. You would think he would have took advantage of being the quarterback for the Cowboys here with this offense. I mean, you got arguably a top 5 running back. You got CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup. Tight ends always decent over there. Offensive line was banged up, but that offensive line is not that bad. Andy Dalton is the kind of quarterback that, he's supposed to be getting rid of the ball quick. He's not supposed to be hanging on to the ball, and I think that was his problem late with the Cincinnati Bengals in his career too. He was taking a ton of sacks, man, and I have no confidence in him, and I think they got to make that move, and it's scary that they didn't make that move at the trade deadline here, because you could have got a quarterback in here for, I feel, real cheap, man. Bring somebody in off the streets, or, like I was saying, somebody like Fitzpatrick.
Rush.
Well, Cooper Rush, the Giants had him on the practice squad to start the year. And I think that's a good pickup, but the more and more I think about it, I'm like, Jason Garrett ain't over there in Dallas no more. So, Cooper, I think you said Cooper Kupp, but I might be wrong. Cooper Rush, it's not the same system for him. So he's got to go in there. He hasn't proven that he could really, really play ball right now. You know what I'm saying? So I think that, it might not be that great of a signing. And you need somebody who's won some games, I feel like. Somebody with some experience, knows defenses, could go in there, a bit of a gunslinger. I like Ryan Fitzpatrick is the perfect mold to go in there. And if he can't do it, I think you really know what you got. And then it goes back to what David was saying. You can go into your rebuild here. And, I mean, the Cowboys have 2 wins. So at this moment right now, the Jets get the first pick. Are there any other teams in the NFL besides the NFC East with only 2 wins?
So before we start calculating that, I did get some clarification on the playoff and draft structure.
Yeah.
So if you're in the playoffs, you automatically can't pick higher than pick number 19.
Right, and I think we talked about that on the I think we either heard that on the last live play-by-play we did, or during the parlay. Somebody was saying it was like that. So if let's say somebody from this division gets in with 6 wins, 7 wins, it's going to ruin their draft stock as well. And like
you'll end up getting the 19th pick.
You'll get the 19th pick, and that's if you just go into the first round and lose, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, but now what happens if that team ends up winning in the first round? That their pick is later in the draft, correct?
Yes.
That makes it really interesting. You know?
And so, for example, with the there's the Jaguars are 1-6.
Yep. And they got that, I believe it's a rookie quarterback that's going to start this week. Gardner Minshew's got a hand injury, so they already announced that.
They're competing, I think, is Mike Glennon and Jake Luton out of...
You sure he didn't get named the starter, though? I think the kid Jake got named the starter.
Yeah. So he's a rookie out of Oregon State University.
Out of Oregon State?
Yeah, he can throw. I mean, he looks a lot better than DiNucci does. I mean, like, I watch college football, so, like, a lot of these players are on my radar, so I kind of have some feel of how they look, but, like, it always changes. Like, for me, the big thing is like when you come into the league as a rookie and play quarterback, right? You got to come at it like how Joe Burrow does, how Justin Herbert is.
Yeah.
Like, there's no like hesitation, there's no fear. Like, they come in and they're playing quarterback, like how they've played quarterback their entire lives probably. I mean, like, you've seen the way Justin Herbert was slinging that rock.
When you say that, it makes me think about guys like Carson Wentz and Daniel Jones who are struggling. Most of their turnovers happen when it's their fault is when they're trying to make a play. It's bonehead stuff where, like, you should have thrown the ball away, but instead you're trying to really, really, really make a play. And Carson Wentz, you talked about that Ben Roethlisberger kind of vibe. Like, that gets him into trouble, but as well, like you saying, that's how they've been playing football their whole life, and it's worked for them. So they continue to go with that, and it leads to, in the NFL, where the speed of the game is just so much faster, and the defenses are so much more just, calculated game plans to knock players out of games. And teams know when they go into Philly right now, they got to stop Carson Wentz. That's the number one plan. And you saw the pressure. I like how the front four played for Dallas. I think they got to Carson Wentz pretty good. I don't know on the QB hits and the pressures. I think it was like 3 or 4 sacks on the day. But they played well, and they got enough pressure. I think they did a good enough job where their offense could have went out there and won games. But, quarterback play was very bad for them. And like you saying, bro, it's like these guys been playing the position like that their whole life, and it got them here. So a lot of that comes from instincts, And unfortunately, it's leading to a bunch of turnovers, man. Like Carson Wentz at the top of the league in turnovers. We got 2 quarterbacks in the NFC East at the top of the league in turnovers. And if Dallas had to play without Dak Prescott for the whole season, these guys would be at the top of the league in turnovers
right there too. And the thing is I keep wanting to go back and look at because right now the Eagles have they're out in front. Like I got the standings up right now for you guys, and it's like so the Eagles are at 3-4-1. But their remaining schedule, I'm going to bring up the schedule really quick so you guys can take a look at it because I think that this is kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because if you really look at it right now, the Eagles, it's going to be tough because...
Where are we? I'm a little bit far from my screen, but...
all right, so
we're right there. They got the Browns coming up? Is that what that is?
The next day, they got to bye this week, right?
Yup.
So then they got the Giants, which, I think...
Oh, yeah, because that's the second Giants game down
exactly.
there. Okay,
But then they got Cleveland... Seattle, Green Bay, New Orleans, Arizona. That stretch right there is brutal for them.
Yeah, I mean, you could come out of that with 4 losses.
With 4 losses.
Yeah, I mean, Arizona seems to be the team they could compete with best. But Green Bay, the way they came out against Tampa Bay last week and really did nothing, put up 10 points in the first quarter and then zilch the rest of the game. I'm not sold on Green Bay. And with the trade deadline here, they didn't make a move at wide receiver, which is surprising to me. I thought that Green Bay was going to try to make a move. And you said Will Fuller was out there on the trade block. People was trying to get Will Fuller out there, right?
Yeah, Green Bay was gunning for Will Fuller. But the thing is that Will Fuller the Texans were wanting way too much for him. And there's a couple other players that people were trying to get for the Texans also. And you would think that the Texans would be interested in moving some of those guys because of the situation that they're in right now. And the other thing is
but then you do got a quarterback who that position is checked off, right?
Exactly.
And if we're the Texans, GM, are we willing to literally get rid of his 2 best weapons in 1 year?
Well, I mean, he didn't get rid of the first one. Bill O'Brien did.
Facts. Well, let's say as an organization, then not a GM.
At this point, you have to figure out how you want to move forward. Because now I'm looking at Dallas, right? Like, Dallas is in a very tough situation right now. They just paid Zeke all that money. They just paid Amari Cooper all that money. And now you're going to have to pay Dak all that money. So it's like, how do they possibly... how do they improve? Because they obviously weren't winning. Even when Dak was there, they were still having issues. How does Dallas improve? They have no payroll. They have no room in the cap space.
You have to build it through the draft. And we got Scotty backstage. You could bring him back in. You definitely got to build it through the draft. I mean, I think the Eagles are in the same position as well, man. I mean, Dallas, if they don't sign Dak, I'm with David. You got to go into a full rebuild. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not enough people over there, but they do got enough youth, I feel like, especially at the wide receiver position. You're getting a little bit older in the backfield with Zeke Elliott and with Amari Cooper out there on the edge or sometimes in the slot, actually.
The big thing with the rebuilding, though, they got the huge contracts they've already given out. I mean, everybody's gotten paid except for Dak. And when you have huge contracts, those are tough to move in the NFL.
So let me ask you this, Scotty. Do you re-sign Dak? Do you franchise tag him or do you let him walk?
Nah, I mean, I definitely re-sign him. Franchise tag would probably be the best, but he's in a great leverage position right now, the way Dallas looks. They need him a lot more than he needs them, even with a broken ankle. So I'd give him a multi-year offer. Whatever he turned down last year, I'd give him that same offer again.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Your ankle's broken, so, we don't really know, but we're still going to put our faith in you because we.
And the Cowboys, I mean, since I can remember, they haven't gone into a rebuild, a true rebuild.
Nah, I mean, Jerry's the key guy.
Not since they did Irving, Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman.
Yeah, right? Yeah, so, I mean, you're looking at almost our whole lives pretty much.
When they're bad, they still try.
Yeah,
I'm like,
he does not want to rebuild over there. They always want to try to go for the chip. And I think a lot of that hype comes out of Dallas. It's like they're going for the Super Bowl this year, just like this year. But if you looked at that roster, we talked about that a few episodes back, like that roster was not ready to win no Super Bowl.
Right. I mean, there's, in the NFL, it's tough to, like, rebuilding is, I feel like, more of a baseball thing. Football,
Yeah.
guaranteed top of the draft. Look at where, like, the superstars were all drafted. They weren't drafted with number 1, 2, and 3. They were all, like,
Tim
middle round.
broke down that stat, and 4 through 7 gets more players that actually have Pro Bowls.
66% of the league was drafted between the 4th round and the 7th round or undrafted.
And if draft position, really mattered, then the Jets, the Giants, and the Washington would have the best football teams in the world right now because we've been drafted in the top 10 for the last 5 years. So, not the case.
That's facts right there.
We're
So
all still
look, before we
rebuilding.
transition, right? Let me ask y'all this: Giants at 1-7, Cowboys 2-6, Washington 2-5, Eagles 3-4-1. Who do y'all got winning division if you had to pick today? I know who Scotty gonna pick.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I might say is Washington's schedule is super soft the next 4 weeks. They could win 4 games if
and
Kyle
while you were
Allen
off, Tim was talking about how the Eagles got that stretch after the bye, 4 games where they could probably not win any one of those games. It was Seattle. Who else was it? Cardinals, Saints,
and Steelers.
I'll stick with the Eagles, but yeah, I mean those if they played like they played against Dallas, they're gonna lose all 4 of those games.
Washington football team wins the division if I had to pick right now.
Washington football team.
I thought my pick was bad.
If the Giants wouldn't have lost last night, I might have picked them. I might have picked them, to be honest.
Giants schedule. What's the Giants schedule look like? Because we
got that schedule.
Who's your backup quarterback? Because Daniel
Colt
Jones.
McCoy. Yeah. All right, so we're starting right there. Yeah. So we got Redskins, Eagles, Bengals, Seahawks, Cardinals, Browns, Ravens, Cowboys. I see about 3 potential wins, maybe 4, maybe 4 potential wins, which would put us at 5 wins.
Yeah, David, why do you want Sewell, bro? You guys just got a left tackle, right? Doesn't he play left tackle? What do you?
Hey, and we gonna talk on that a little bit more, but yeah, I definitely feel him. I mean, more offensive linemen and depth at offensive line is never a bad thing. I'm not mad at that.
When you want to play Giants football. Let's get around the league real quick. Today was a trade deadline, 4 p.m. Superstar wide receiver Isaiah Ford, probably the best wide receiver of all time. He went from the Dolphins to the Patriots, a rare interdivision trade. On the year, he's got 18 catches for 184 yards, no touchdowns. That kind of tells you what type of trade deadline day it was. It was pretty quiet. Will Fuller was a name that came up. Houston Texans.
We talked about that a little bit too, yup.
Okay, so he was going to go to Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers didn't really push it hard. He said he would enjoy having something, but that didn't go down.
I did see that quote. Aaron Rodgers, stop swelling, bro.
It was a whole video, too. I'm not a huge Aaron Rodgers fan off the field. On the field, I think he's the best of our generation, but I can't stand the guy sometimes.
Facts.
Stephen Gilmore was another one. Did you guys talk about him?
Yeah, no, we didn't talk anything else about the trade deadline.
We
just did that one quick one with Will Fuller. That was it.
Because he might come to one of our teams. That's why.
Hey, I would hope, but man, now that this trade deadline just came and went.
What did they want? They wanted a first-round pick for Gilmore. The Patriots did,
and a player. Yeah. They wanted a first-round pick and a player.
Yeah.
So why do you guys think it was a quiet deadline as far as like any big names going? I mean, this is usually when teams go all in, try to win it. But I mean, because there's expanded playoffs, maybe teams don't think they need as much to get in this year, and they're happy just sitting where they are.
I think it's a combination of multiple things. So I think one of the things that I didn't really take into consideration is so if you do trade for somebody, I'm assuming they still have to go through your COVID protocol. So it's you're almost trading for somebody who's not going to play for you for at least 1 to 2 weeks, okay? So that's one thing you got to kind of think about. The second thing is if you're trading for somebody that doesn't have an expiring contract, now you have to think about how much does a salary cap? Well, no, I'm saying if they have an expiring contract, then it's a rental. But if it's not an expiring contract, the next season, nobody really knows what the salary cap is going to be next year because everybody's thoughts are the salary cap is going to dip next season because the income of the league overall this year is lower because of the COVID. So that's going to affect the salary cap for next year. So I think that's one thing that you got to take into consideration. Another thing is I think there was over the last 2 weeks, the gap of teams widened. Okay, so there's it's kind of like the country. You're either really, really rich or you're either really, really poor.
Which
Fact.
country?
Like,
This
the,
country?
the
Which country?
America.
Which
The
country?
middle
This,
class.
this one's not as bad, man. Go to some other countries, you'll see
Yeah.
some real.
Yeah, but I
classes.
mean, the middle class is kind of dwindling. But that being said, like I just think that there's a lot of bad teams and a lot of really good teams.
Yeah.
So there, typically with the trade deadlines, you have these teams that are like wavering, and it's like,
The NFC is not very good at all. The NFC, I think it's like blackjack. Like you're dealt a 15, but the dealer's showing like a 4. So you're like, you know what? I'm just
Yeah.
gonna go ahead and sit on this. Like I'm gonna go
Outside
ahead
of
and
the NFC West, man, I mean, the NFC is.
And
is
then
pretty
even with the
terrible.
NFC West, which we're going to talk about here in a second, that division is starting to kind of widen a little bit now, separate itself, between the top
Yeah.
2 teams and the other 2 teams. But I was a little surprised because I thought, especially the way that things have been trending up into the trade deadline, I was expecting there to be a lot more deals. And, particularly for the Washington football team, just because Ryan Kerrigan is literally playing like 4% of the snaps every game. And
Do you
it's
want to
like-
win? I mean, he's got 4 sacks. He
He has
being
4
productive
sacks, right?
with
He has
snaps
2
he
sacks. He has his 4 sacks are against the 2 worst teams, the Cowboys and the Eagles. And
He's
for
done
the
that his whole. He's done
the
that his whole
month-
career.
Yeah, exactly. The month in between those 2 games, he had 0 sacks. So it's like it's a little, like one of those.
But
"Hey,
if you,
look
I mean,
good."
if you're talking about like a 6th round pick, you would take that. I mean, I think if it wasn't a 4th or better, I wouldn't.
I mean,
be
are
taking
you
it.
going to
He's worth
re-sign
more.
Ryan Kerrigan next year? No.
I understand,
if you let
but
him
he's
walk,
worth
then you
something in
get
the locker
nothing
room.
for him.
He's good depth,
Exactly.
man.
And
I don't want
that's
Chase
what it
Young
is.
playing every single snap. Chase Young's already gotten hurt this year.
I feel you, and that's what I'm saying.
But with a
is
team that's not making a true run, I mean, minus the NFC East being garbage, the Washington football team has been terrible this year.
That's
And
why I
the
said
other
a
thing-
4th. 4th, I'd do it. 5th,
I'm
He needs
definitely
too
taking the
much.
4th. 100%, I'm taking the 4th. But
sure.
I think to what Tim's saying though, it's like if you don't let him go, you
get
gonna
nothing.
let him walk next year and get nothing.
for sure.
Nobody's
yeah.
gonna sign him that's gonna get you a comp
But
pick.
I do think he brings us value even for the last only
For sure.
8 games.
And
of
For sure, I agree. I agree with you on that.
And I
Yeah,
think
for
that's
sure.
more for me than a 6th round draft pick. I mean, those are
I
like.
feel you. Yeah, the 8 games of value might be worth
And
more
the
than
other
that.
thing
He's an
is,
icon
too-
too. He's got 95 career sacks or something.
He
All
leads-
time
but-
he's
sack
our-
leader.
he's
But
our
does that go
franchise leader.
against? Does that go against the theory about all the better players and the bulk of the league coming from rounds 4 through 7? Just to play devil's advocate.
Because he had a great career.
No,
I mean,
because we
trading
can
him
get-
for
we
6
can
right
get
now,
a
right?
player.
You say you don't want to trade him for 6, right?
Oh, right,
You see
right,
what I'm
right.
saying though? But like a lot of the good players come from round 4 through 7, so it's like maybe you could get a solid player coming out of there. I mean, there's
If you
been some
trust
good
your
6th-round picks.
If you trust your team to draft, our
And-
6th round picks don't even make it through training camp. normally.
Look, our second round picks are the worst of all. We cannot draft in the second round. But this is the other thing, too. Is you have to remember, there's a chance that the Washington football team loses some draft picks after the investigation that the NFL is doing is done.
That's true too.
And that
on,
will,
on Dan Snyder,
yeah.
yeah.
we're gonna lose picks.
Yes.
He said we're gonna
What are you
lose
talking
picks.
about? Why would they do
Because
that?
he's
that's
been
your owner.
Clippers
that's
didn't lose draft picks when Sterling did his thing.
Yo,
Well,
Why
I
would he
mean,
then?
I'm just
That's
saying,
separate
like,
from us, man. That has nothing to do with us. There was no
But
point.
it
That was
wasn't
just
culture
cheerleaders.
thing. I like how he dismissed it though. Like, yeah, that's separate from us. I feel
It
you.
happened. It's a
That's
terrible
good.
thing that happened. It was a disgusting thing, and he should be punished. But they
Yeah.
shouldn't punish the team.
If I'm a Washington football team fan, I feel you on that 100.
and look, this is the other thing, too. I don't know if y'all saw this or not, but they've been talking about expanding this year to 8 playoff teams.
They are
If-
doing it.
Wow.
Because
they added 7 so far, right?
yeah, but that's
Oh,
like
that's right.
permanently.
Yeah.
But like
Now
they're
they talking
thinking
about
about
doing 8.
making it 8 because they're
That's where the
worried
money
that
is.
this second wave of COVID is gonna like mess up the schedule, and they're thinking about if that happens, adding an 8th. team
Oh,
to
and
the
to answer your
playoffs.
question about the trade deadline and why things were like, pretty quiet, I think that also has a big play in it too, is the COVID situation around the league. Teams are like, man, we need to pump the brakes and just figure this out maybe next year, man.
NHL might not even play. Me and Simone were watching ESPN earlier, and they were like, the NHL is not saying anything. They said have already started, and they're just like, we're probably not going to come out this year and play. Like, this is
It's
really
bad,
hurting
man. What's the
sports.
college that they had like 30
Wisconsin.
players? I mean, come on, dog. You got
30
to cancel the
positive?
whole 30.
Yeah.
And in the NFL, I know Denver just had a couple more, right? And then it's another team that had a couple more.
It's 6 teams right now that had. Look, we went from this weekend to having 0 positive COVID tests in NFL to like Monday, Tuesday having like 6 or 7 cases.
I don't want to be. We're not gonna really get into it. I don't really want to talk about it. But man, if you're watching CNN or Fox News and you see these voting, tell me that's not a third wave of COVID right there. We're talking about hundreds of people in like these little cafeterias. I'm looking at it like, oof.
I
This
know.
does not look good from
It's
a doctor.
not a good look.
I'm not a doctor.
I'll tell you, man, when I went to go vote, that joint was dead, and it was in the new rec center they built in Wheaton. So it was like,
Perfect.
They had like 100 booths out there.
Isn't it nice?
It's super
sweet,
nice.
man.
I didn't come within maybe 25, 30 feet of anybody, except the
went
people that was
5.
handling my business. But I did go on an off day. I went early, and it was pouring rain out here, so it wasn't that many people out there. But Tim said he voted today, and it was pretty easy.
In and out.
Good to hear. That's good to
In
hear.
and out.
I've seen some voting lines that looked a little long, but I mean, they say if you're in line, there's no end time. It's supposed to be like polls close at 7, but if you're in line, you get to vote. So that's cool.
Oh, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I
Get
know
there
tonight's going to be
6:59.
interesting, man. Like, it's going to be a wild night. I'm going to be up all night, and if we can get the news by the end of today, DC streets probably going to get crazy. I might have to hit the streets with my camera and go document some stuff. So we're going to see. It's pretty windy, pretty cold. Well, I'm going to try to get out there probably.
I saw a wall around the White.
It's Dr. Homewood. Ben Noggle.
Unofficial, no title. They
So
built
what
a
about
wall.
that NFC?
What's my man's name? What was the show with the young doctor?
Doogie Howser.
Doogie Howser, yeah.
You
Is
got
that
a
Michael J.
little Doogie Howser vibe going
Neil
on
Patrick,
too,
Neil
Scotty
Patrick,
Boomz.
Neil Patrick. You remember his role
Neil
in
Patrick
White
Harris.
Castle?
So good.
Harold
where
and
he's,
Kumar,
like,
that was
eating the
good.
mushrooms. You see
Oh
on
my
that was
god,
good.
that is so funny. I watched that. Listen, I watched that movie in 3D without 3D glasses. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
that was hazy. You got bad vision as already goes. So I mean, I bet that was tough.
NFC
What about
West.
the NFC West?
Yeah.
Yes.
We got to talk about it. They've already suffered big injuries all year, the San Francisco 49ers. They lost their quarterback and their star tight end, George Kittle, again. Jimmy Garoppolo, he hurt his ankle. We thought it was like, oh, man, re-injured the old ankle. He missed a couple games. It was, Shanahan said this is a brand new thing. A brand new ankle injury that Garoppolo has suffered. He's going to miss multiple weeks. And the Beard told me a couple minutes ago that George Kittle broke his foot, which obviously you need to play the game of football, especially when you're running as a tight end does. So George Kittle's out for the season, or do we know?
I'd imagine a broken foot put him out
6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks. So
good.
that's
So that's
playoffs,
about
really,
it.
if anything.
If
Man,
they
maybe
make
the
it,
last
and
week.
an already tough division. I mean, Seattle's looking like one of the better teams in the NFC.
Yeah, they're sitting at 6-1. Cardinals right behind them at 5-2. Rams at 5-3.
That division
49ers
is
at 4-4.
stacked.
Yeah, that division is stacked, man.
So
Yeah,
they should,
but look,
start selling.
The Rams,
Yeah.
I think, maybe either on Thursday's episode or next week, we're going to do like a little, take a look at some of these records because I think the Rams are kind of suspect now.
Oh,
in
most
my
definitely.
opinion.
I mean, the NFC East spotted them, all them wins,
Yeah,
and really they haven't done anything
They got
since.
handed. And although I said it was going to happen, the Dolphins took care of the Rams. You know what I'm saying?
In the most interesting fashion ever.
Because Brian Flores.
That's the best defensive performance you've ever seen for a rookie quarterback starting, I think, on any team. I mean, that was just ridiculous and a bit unexpected. I thought it'd be close, but I did call that touchdown, man, to Devontae Parker.
Yes, you
Did
did.
call that.
They
Did
said
call that.
Flores was running that cover zero defense blitz.
That's the same. That's what he did
In the
against
Super
that
Bowl.
offense in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And he was there when he did that, and he did the exact. And McVay was like, "I still don't remember how to beat this." Apparently, and
Because
and
you
I was
gotta throw the Rams in there, you gotta throw the Browns in there, you gotta throw the Bears in there. Like those three teams are kind of like they're frauds. Those are fraudulent records.
Yeah, the Browns are definitely a bit
Pretenders,
fraudulent.
not
Yeah.
contenders.
Yeah,
What
I wonder
about-
how did that wide receiver do for the Browns, Tim, that filled in for OBJ? Did you get to check his stats out?
Higgins.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Didn't do that well,
Look,
huh?
that whole team didn't do very well. That game was like 16
That was the
to
win,
9 or
right?
something like that.
That was the game with all the win. They couldn't do anything. They couldn't. throw
Hey,
the
so
football,
so
period.
check this out too, man. I was watching Colin Cowherd this morning, right? And he was talking. For one, he put the Miami Dolphins in his power rankings in the top 10. He had them at 10. I thought that was interesting. And he talked about exactly what Tim was saying. He said how the league is just pretty much the dynamic is so far apart from the bad teams to the good teams. He definitely mentioned that. But he mentioned this about Tua, and I thought this was interesting. He was like, he's not sold on him. And he said the odds are against him. If you look at quarterbacks at that height, he's about 6 feet tall. There's only been really Drew Brees to be successful at that height. And now you got Kyler Murray coming in who's kind of doing some things at that height. But there really has not been many quarterbacks. The quarterback is a position for a taller guy. And we got Russell Wilson out there, too, who's balling out at a shorter height as well. But the odds are stacked against him. And then in that game, I don't know if y'all got to see it. I told y'all when we were doing the parlay, I was going to have that game on the side. He looked awful.
Yeah,
he looked terrible. I mean, 93 total yards. That ain't it, you know. And I mean, it's his first game and whatnot, you know, starting wise. But
it hurts more when you see what Herbert's doing, and you're like, man, we could have had that guy. I mean, that dude is throwing 3 touchdowns every single week, and
quarterback for Buffalo Bills too, Josh Allen. You know, he's built of that stature as well. He's got that Herbert kind of build, even bigger. You know, he's got the Cam Newton kind of build, big guy. You know, and I think the quarterback position is one of the most difficult positions to judge this day and age. You know, it's like I feel like when the 90s was around in the early 2000s, I could spot if a guy was going to be the guy for his franchise pretty early on. And now just the way that the game has evolved and turned into a passing league and teams adding RPO for running quarterbacks, it's so hard to gauge who's going to be good. Like, look at Lamar Jackson out here struggling. He was MVP last year, led the league in passing touchdowns. This year he's completely struggling, but he's got a team around him that they're still winning games. Garoppolo, you mentioned, with the ankle injury, and even before that, not playing well, you know. And I told somebody today, I think the 49ers should trade. They should have tried to trade for Daniel Jones. I think he could be the perfect quarterback to go into that system and get his whole thing cleaned up. Granted, I want Daniel Jones here, but just thinking of the quarterback play that's happening with the 49ers, who, when Raheem Mostert is healthy, is one of the better backs in the league, straightforward runner. If you had a quarterback in there that could really make plays, you know, underneath those kind of play calls that Kyle Shanahan is doing, I thought Daniel Jones would be the perfect quarterback. But to my main point, I just think, man, a lot of these younger quarterbacks, man, it's so hard to judge them. I don't got a good gauge on Garoppolo. I don't got a good gauge on even a guy like Gardner Minshew, who now is looking like, you know, yeah, the injury got him thrown to the bench, but I know Jacksonville's looking at him like, is this our guy? Carson Wentz, you just paid him all that money, right? If they didn't pay him that money, would they be like, this is our guy?
And that, I mean, it's so hard to look at records because it's such a team sport. Even though the quarterback touches the ball every single down, it's like you really can't lay too much blame or give too much credit for a team's record just on the quarterback. So that's a smokescreen right there. I mean, the big one is like how he handles a huddle, how's his footwork, accuracy, decision-making. There's a couple big intangibles, but without consistency, like you said, it's really impossible to gauge it because you're like, 2 weeks, he looks like he's good. The next 3 weeks, looks like he shouldn't be playing in the NFL. So does he fall somewhere in the middle like Kirk Cousins? That's the epitome of it for me. I mean,
when we were in entertainers chat, they were talking about Kirk Cousins, and I pretty much I was like, yo, Eli Manning was a Kirk Cousins. He just got 2 Super Bowls. Eli Manning was never off the charts, and I feel like a lot of Giants fans, now that Eli Manning is retired, they're giving him the pass. Like when they see Daniel Jones not convert, a last 2-minute drill to get some points on the board, they're like, oh, Eli would have did that. Yeah, Eli had a lot of comeback wins, but the main reason why was because his best ability was availability. And Eli played a lot more games than a lot of these other quarterbacks. So he's up there. He's top 10 as far as comeback wins go. But I do remember a lot of times where we were scratching our head at Eli Manning's throws at the end of games, like, another interception, bro? Are you kidding me?
And he had nowhere near the athleticism of Daniel Jones. So he stood in the pocket and would make throws, a lot of questionable ones early in his career, like you're saying.
Yeah, and for me with Daniel Jones especially, it's so hard to gauge it. Is this a Jameis Winston kind of thing, you know? Because Jameis Winston put up 30 touchdowns, 5,000 yards last year, and 30 interceptions. And people don't want to give him the chance right now. I'm surprised that he wasn't a guy that might have got traded away, that Drew Brees has been healthy throughout the year, you know? So for quarterbacks, for me, and I played quarterback, it's so hard to gauge these guys. But a guy like Ben DiNucci, you start to question what's going on in the culture over there with Dallas, because it's like, y'all didn't see that? What are y'all scouting? Look at his mechanics. Look at how he throws the ball sidearm. Look at how when he gets pressure on him, how he bails out. I mean, he's the worst quarterback I've seen in the last 20 years get a start.
We talked
right
about
there with Nate Peter. What was his name? Nate Peterson?
Peterman.
Oh, my God.
He's still in the NFL, too.
And he stayed in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Is it the hardest position, or they just don't know how to judge it? What is it? There's got to be better players in this.
Hey,
right?
It's
a bit of both, I think. I think it's a bit of both. Go ahead, Tim.
I'm going to give y'all one, though. Matt Ryan's a starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers in 2021.
That's what you think?
That would be dangerous. I mean, I know him and Shanahan are boys.
Yeah, and both of them kind of fell apart when they left each other. Shanahan's been keeping it together in San Fran.
Garoppolo got to go.
Garoppolo's got to go. Yeah.
Because that's a great system, and Shanahan might be the best offensive play calling coach outside of Kansas City in the NFL.
Look, you know,
and that's just last year. That's just last year the 49ers were in the Super Bowl, right?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. So look at that. I mean, imagine Matt Ryan on that squad.
No, was it last year? It was last year. It was last
I
year.
feel like it was last year.
It was last year.
And
Yeah.
they weren't there like 3 years ago, so they've been there a bunch.
And you remember how they got there? They
now
man,
it's
it's crazy. My memory is serving me correctly right now. You remember the game against Green Bay? They knocked out Aaron Rodgers, and all they did was run the rock. That was the game that Mostard had that crazy game, like 300 total rushing yards for the team, and he had like 200 something. You know, so it's like they didn't get there on the strength of their quarterback.
Right. And they've always been a system team since he's been there. I mean, he's smart. He's like his daddy. His dad was the same way. Other than Terrell Davis, the Broncos were rolling in anybody. Get Orlando Scary. That dude had like 1,200 football yards and then was out of the league in 2 years.
Yeah, that's facts, man. So, I mean, moving forward, I just don't know what, with there's a lot of teams that got quarterback issues. And I even think with the Houston Texans, it's like, what do you do with him there if you're not going to put weapons around him? What are you going to do with Deshaun Watson? You know, he's a good quarterback. He's shown he could play. But the problem with him is he gets sacked way too much,
Right.
Holding that ball, doing the same stuff Carson Wentz is doing. But they're not really giving him much help. And Carson Wentz, same thing too. You go out there and you draft a quarterback. They drafted a quarterback in the first round, right? Is that them or was that Green Bay?
Green Bay drafted
Jordan
a quarterback and the Eagles. Or the Eagles was second round.
Second round. It's like
Jalen
Carson
Hurts.
Wentz needs pieces over there. What are we doing drafting a quarterback? And every time Jalen Hurts has gotten on the field, he's looked like straight garbage. They've had him on the field twice for 2-point conversions that have failed.
He's not. Yeah, I mean, he's throwing interceptions too, and he's barely even out there, like you're saying.
Yeah, and we're just fans, bro. We just fans. We just watching the game. How do people in the organization? How does Dallas not know that Ben DiNucci's not the guy?
Maybe.
How do the Eagles not know that they don't need to draft a quarterback in the second round to try to get a wide receiver? I mean, Alshon Jeffrey has been banged up since he's been there.
What if Ben DiNucci looked like Steve Young in practice, like slinging that thing?
No
and
way.
Then he
Go
gets
back and look at the mechanics.
No, that's what I mean. What if he's different mechanics? What if in practice he throws it over the shoulder? It's like a totally different player. He gets on the field and then he starts playing like that. They're like,
then you gotta yoke him out immediately. And
That's
I
what
don't see him getting to start next week.
we said it sounded like a candid camera episode. Like we were waiting for like the aha moment. Like this can't be real, right?
Ashton Kutcher to take the helmet off and be like, "You got punked," kind of vibes, because
too much.
that quarterback play was ridiculous, man. And teams are, I don't know if they're tanking. I did talk about that. Maybe it's like Jerry Jones' way of being like, "I'll get my quarterback. We're not paying Dak," because you could make that decision immediately.
He looked so froggy and just grumpy up there in the box, man. He's just sitting there.
Yeah, it was awful, man. And NFC's been struggling big time. But yo, I would like to get to this. Let's get to this game. Let's get to this game.
Let's get to this game. All right, man. Let's take a quick commercial break. We're gonna come back. We got trivia, and then we're gonna get to that Giants recap. Hang tight. We'll be back in about 9.5 seconds.
Let's get it.
That's a quick commercial for our segment, The Parlay, every Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Check us out live. We go through every single NFL game, give you our picks against the spread, the over-under, and the Beard's going to give you some fantasy players to pick. On the Monday night game or Sunday night game, we put together a little DraftKings lineup. That was kind of fun. We took some input from you guys. We didn't take some input we should have taken from you guys as well. But we're probably going to do something like that as well. So check us out Sunday morning, 11 a.m. for the Parlay. We have arrived at everyone's favorite time of the episode. Awthentik and the Beard present Trivia Time.
Trivia time.
The Beard, man. What's up?
Well.
We need our
You looking for a
soprano in
stat or something?
I'm pulling up Google, man.
Ready to
He's definitely getting that Google ready for his answers here.
Good.
How many questions you got today,
I
Scott?
should get these, man. Oh.
We got a lot of trivia?
I have 6, but I'm probably not going to ask you.
Man, let's get it.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
We got
I'll
no game,
decide how we
coming
progress.
after us. So I mean, we can hang.
We got Giants to take a long time. I feel like we got a lot to get out. Lots to get out. All right. The Beard, we're starting with you this week.
I guess.
All right.
I don't know if I like
Authentic,
that.
are you ready?
Born ready.
The Beard, are you
do it.
ready?
Let's do it.
Question number 1. Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski connected for a 3-yard scoring pass last night, propelling them to second place on the all-time touchdown list for a duo. Which two players hold the top spot? Starting with the beard.
Jerry Rice and Joe Montana.
He said tight end.
I didn't say tight end.
Oh, he didn't.
Duo. Any duo.
Do any duo. Oh, that changes the game.
I was about ready to feel real stupid because I thought I was locked.
That
and
changes the
and
game.
listening really closely.
Jerry
They
Rice,
definitely have
Joe.
the record for tight end. No doubt. If they're second for everybody, then they definitely got it for tight
That
end.
ruined my answer. So you going Jerry Rice, Joe Montana?
And I feel like that's wrong now, the way that Scotty Boomz looked at me.
I don't know why you think you can read me too. Authentic has like a 5% chance. You have 0. You will never know what's going on up here, my friend. Never.
Duo. I'm gonna go Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison.
Oh, that's the good one.
That is correct.
Oh man, and you know what's crazy?
Wow.
Is I see it in the chat now too. I didn't see it in the chat. I was just thinking like, what is a good duo? What is a good duo?
You shouldn't have said that because that sounds like the murderer coming back to the crime scene. Like, oh, I don't really know. I got blood on my hands,
boots,
but
man.
right. You're like,
I
do
didn't
have
even
a
have
knife,
the chat
but-
open.
Hey, Scotty, that's like when you pull back up to the murder scene, like, man, I got here and they were bloody and they was dead.
Don't know what to tell you. Don't know what to tell you. This is how everything was. I'm innocent, officer.
I'm innocent,
Authentic.
officer.
Good pull, Authentic. You take the point, 1-0.
Let's
Going to
go.
question number 2.
I
We should
Authentic.
have to maybe close the comments during.
I
trivia
keep it
time.
on. I keep it off.
Yeah,
You
go
keep it
full
on, I keep it
screen.
off.
Go full screen. Let's do that. You guys should check each other. I don't know if you can see each other's screens or not. Question number 2.
I know, right?
I can see. Steve has the chat up.
I do got the
Oh.
shadow. He can see mine. I got to keep it up because I don't trust him.
See,
Man,
you guys,
know what, man?
you ruin the integrity of the questions
chat,
when you
man.
Google it, man, or look at the chat. Chat's smarter than we are. We all know this.
I feel you. I
Only-
feel you.
Only one quarterback in the 1990s had a season of more than 40 touchdown passes. Name that Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Oh, it's on
Big
me
hint.
first this time, right?
Big hint. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in the 90s. Was this one in the 90s? I think it was in the 90s. I'll go Kurt Warner.
40 touchdown passes and won the Super Bowl and was a starting quarterback in the 90s. Those are the criteria.
Didn't say he won it that year. I said he was a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Didn't
say he won it that
Tricky.
Might have.
Tricky.
He might have.
90s. There wasn't a lot. 40
Yeah,
touchdown
40's a lot
passes.
for the 90s.
Dante. Although
Oh.
they won the Super Bowl. They're a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Okay, I have to rethink.
Oh
that.
yeah, because I thought I had it too.
I almost slipped.
Yeah, you almost messed that up.
You know what? I to be honest with you, I don't think. I mean, it has to be Kurt Warner. But was Kurt Warner in the 90s?
I know. I was like,
He
was it
wasn't in the
99 or
90s.
was it
Kurt
2000?
Warner wasn't in the 90s.
Is that your final answer, the beard?
Steve Young.
Steve Young, final answer?
Final answer.
Authentic
it.
is 2-0. It's Curtis Warner. I don't know if his first name is Curtis, but it is
He said,
today.
It ain't Curtis. No way.
That season was the
Kurt Warner in
99,
the 90s?
the 99 2000
Look,
season.
man, that
What
was
do
a
you
trick
mean?
question.
How many games have we
I
played
put
from the
it
NFL
out there
season?
for you too,
You
and I
did,
said
but
I
I
thought it
mean,
was
like,
99.
I had to double think because I'm thinking about it. I'm like, that didn't seem like it was in the 90s.
He played the year before though too. That wasn't his first year there. He was there for.
But
was there
did he
for
throw 40 touchdown
Not the year
passes in
before.
the exactly?
1999 2000 season. So it's a trick question. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
I'll take that into consideration for my next round.
All right.
Authentic takes the point.
Steve Young did throw 35 in 1994.
That was a ton of touchdowns in 1994.
It was.
Like,
That's
that
good,
was
Tim.
a
That's
gang of
pretty good.
touchdowns. Nobody did that back then.
Look, I almost said Dante Culpepper though was like.
said
But then the
Well,
Super Bowl, getting to the Super Bowl was a
Then the
problem because
Super
Morton
Bowl cut
Anderson
me off, yeah.
shanked that kick. Yeah.
Had the answer. Somebody said Jerry Rice. That's a good transition to question number 3. Jerry Rice compiled the most receiving yards of any wideout during the 1990s. Who was number 2? We're starting with the beard.
Can you repeat the question? I'll give him a
The
little.
question, I did have
yeah.
a stutter in the middle there.
Yeah. I had a
Jerry
little,
Rice compiled the most receiving
Let me close my
yards
Google.
of any wideout during the 1990s. Who was number 2 on that list? Of most receiving yards in the 1990s.
This one's on Tim first, right? Or is it on me first?
It's on the beard.
Tim Brown.
Is that your answer? Or are you reading Lax's answer?
No, that's my answer. I don't have the chat.
going-
up,
I do
man.
have the chat, and I just
Right
saw.
now.
I did see
Just
Lax's
came up and then
answer.
you said it. And I'm like, come you like Brick from Anchorman.
No, I don't have the
I love
chat
Lamp.
up. I see 10 red comments on my screen I haven't been able to look at.
All right. So Tim Brown is your final answer?
Yeah,
Awthentik?
man.
You know, Scotty, you said I have a 5% chance of reading you. You know,
Yes.
your poker face.
Okay.
I think it's Tim Brown just off the strength of your poker face.
All right. Final
We'll keep
answer.
it 100. Final
Final
answer.
95% incorrect.
Chris Carter.
Michael Irvin.
Michael Irvin.
Michael Irvin.
How'd you guys see
You know, I
that?
wanted
We
to
are
say
the
him, but
best
like I
division
feel
of
like
football.
that he didn't have a lot of yards. I feel like
That's
Troy Aikman didn't throw for a lot of
crazy.
yards.
That's crazy. Oh, I did not see that one coming. You got
Michael
it.
Irvin was a
cocaine,
dog.
A lot of cocaine. A lot of receiving yards. Michael Irvin had a
like the
great
old
time.
Tim.
Yeah, he
He
did.
took the 80s all the way through the 90s. He might have took it to the 2020s, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Irvin was a winner, man. I know, and I seen in their 30 for
He be
30s. They
wearing
talked
them
about him in the locker
1980
room.
color suits on TV.
Oh yeah, he do.
Big
He
time.
do.
All right, those are our 3 football questions. The last
Hey,
3
but before
are
we move on from Michael Irvin, right?
yeah.
Michael Irvin had one of the freshest haircuts in the 90s. I don't know if you remember. He had the 3 parts on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You seen the
Oh, yeah.
haircut he's
Oh,
rocking
yeah.
these days,
It's
bro?
bad.
It's like the
He's
Sherman
55
Clump.
years old.
You remember when
You
Sherman
think his
turned-
hair's growing like it did back then?
Yeah, he got the Sherman clump. You got to have a good head of hair to get the Sherman clump. You remember when Sherman Clump was in the Ferrari and he turned into Clump? Like, he went from being Buddy Love and they turned back into Clump and the hair was like, that's what his hair looks like, yo.
They have the meme of him
Yo.
going around right now where he's looking at the camera, sweating dumb hard, just like staring right at it, like, man, look bad,
Yo,
Mike. Look bad.
national like TV, like, you know, big broadcasts like that must be tough, yo. Them lights be on you, that must
Yeah.
be cooking.
This is tough for him in my
Nah.
house right now, and I'm struggling with this, man. I
Right.
can't imagine doing it. I would freak out. I'd be like, I'm out. You know
Yeah,
about
dog.
Cosby? Can't
Straight
do
up.
it. Can't do this
Straight
anymore. I
up.
gotta go.
Straight up.
All right, question number 4.
Oh, all right. Let's
Yeah,
go.
that was the end of the football questions, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Tim, you didn't get anything right there, buddy. Authentic is up 2-0. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to guess his
Yeah.
answers. You know, when he say the answer, I'm copying it every time.
For this next question, we're going to a 90s teen sitcom, traveling to Bayside High.
Oh, I
Talk
like
about
it.
Saved by the Bell.
They're rebooting this, by the way. I don't know if you guys saw the trailer.
They
yet
should
or
they should
not.
leave it where it is.
Yeah,
Really,
you gotta
if you
leave
ask
that
me.
alone. It's only one Zach Morris.
He is
In the
Zach Morris
classic.
is the mayor of California in this new one,
Oh, word. So Mark,
I might
what was his name? Mark Gosling?
Yeah.
Gosling.
He's in
Yeah.
it.
and AC Slater is the football coach.
Oh, at least they bringing back some of the old cast.
about-
Kelly Kapowski.
I
is
bet you
there.
Lisa Turtle's
Jesse-
not in it.
She's Lisa Turtle and Screech are not in it.
She lost.
Everybody
I
else
heard
he
is
did
in
Screech
it.
went to jail for a little bit.
Yeah,
he
he's
did
a
some
wild
things.
dude.
He did some
Oh,
things.
Screech. That's
Lisa
because he was the
Turtle, too,
nerd
though.
on that show. They was bullying him, yo. He turned into a goon when he got
was
older.
Oh, he's a
He was
good.
a star, though. I mean, he was
He
the
stabbed
nerd. but-
people.
Yeah, he was definitely the star.
Oh, it was a bar fight. It was a bar fight.
He's-
So it
Yeah,
was
and I heard
like,
I heard it was blown out of proportion a little bit. The
was a
story was like
questionable stabbing.
Siced or something like that. He didn't even do real jail
He's done
time.
a lot of crazy stuff. But
Well, it
sorry
sounds
about
like
that.
you guys are well versed in Saved by the Bell, which should lend it to help with this question.
Yeah, let's
In
get
the
it.
classic 1990s teen sitcom Saved by the Bell, what nickname would Zach Morris use when he answered calls on his teen hotline?
Oh.
This is going to start with Awthentik. I will give you a minute for this question. 1 minute. Clock starts now. The question is, what nickname would Zach Morris use when he answered calls on his teen hotline? You guys might remember
you know
this.
what we got to add to this trivia?
Phone a
It's
friend.
feet-
Phone a
Featured-
friend. We need to add phone a
Some
friend.
lifelines?
Yeah, we need some lifelines.
Lifelines.
We need to add
We
that.
should
So
do
next-
full screen and want to be like view the chat, and you get like 5 seconds to get out of the main screen and go to the chat, and then go back.
You know what?
Once
I
call
like
a
that. You
friend.
know what it could be? It could be we go to one person in the chat. You know,
pick
you
anybody
got to
you
pick
know's
that
in there?
person, but you can't look at the answers. You just got to pick that one person, and their guess will be the answer. I'm digging
Oh,
that.
okay,
So
we're gonna-
maybe next week we toss that in there.
Expansion time.
Zach's nickname.
This was a featured plot in many different episodes. Not a featured plot, but it was a ploy. They brought it in. It worked well. Zach would answer. This is back when telephones were not portable
Yeah,
or
I
mobile.
know the phone. I know the
You know-
scene.
do you
I
know
don't
the
know
answer?
the
everybody.
name.
We might have
No,
some
no, I
younger
don't.
people in the chat or some
I
older
don't.
I'm gonna
people.
go with because I really don't know, but I'll go with the name of the band. I'm gonna go with Zach Attack.
That's what I was gonna go. Yeah, Zack Attack.
It's Nitro.
Nitro. That's a
Wanna
tough
get that
trivia
one.
question.
You
What was
wanna
it?
get
That's
that
like the Gladiator show. What was it?
I would have went
American
with
Gladiator?
what drug was Jessie on when she had her freak out segment?
Speed. I'm so excited.
Lost
I
it.
just can't-
She was
Oh,
my.
no.
She
Is
was
that
my
the song
favorite.
she was singing?
Yeah, that was
It
the
was
song.
the song, right?
Yeah, that was your favorite, Scotty?
I liked her better than Kelly Kapowski, and then
Man,
she
I
was
was at least-
in.
I was at least
You know, I was
Showgirls.
a Lisa
right,
Turtle.
and then she
Yeah, I
was
was
in
Lisa Turtle
Showgirls, and I was
vibes.
a big fan.
You remember
that
Tori?
movie.
Remember when Tori came in? She was kind of a badass.
Yeah,
leather
she
jacket.
wore the leather jacket.
Tomboy. She was all right too.
Didn't fit the squad. When she brought her in, I was like, "This show's dying. It's dying."
Yeah, this show's
not
dying.
the original one. When they
Whose
bring in
idea
somebody,
was that?
who's this person? Like, come on, the out of towner? Nah, not a good
Yeah,
one.
facts.
All right, we got a hip hop question.
All right.
Who are the original members of Nas's 1990s rap collective?
Oh, this might get you,
Affirm.
Tim.
We're gonna go back. We're gonna go back and forth.
We'll go back and forth.
Yeah, because I got 4 of them.
There's there 4?
Four total.
If you maybe include the guy
Okay,
who
yeah, I
started
got it. I got it.
So that's even a cheat because we're starting with you, the beard. The
This is
beard.
great.
So let's start with
I'm
you.
gonna save the toughest one for last.
Nas,
AZ.
Okay. AZ.
Foxy
boom.
Brown.
Oh, so if I get this, I win, right?
No.
There's only
Get
4 of them.
this.
Yeah. I know it too.
We're out of questions.
If I
you get
if
this,
I
now
if
have
I
one more
can say it
question.
before he does, do I get I take
we
the
should
whole
write
thing?
it down. We should write
Can
it
you
down.
guys spell? Are you guys spellers? How about you guys
Yeah.
spell it out? Do you have like a piece of paper next to you, real quick?
No, look, we'll say it at the same time. 3, 2,
time.
1.
Go ahead.
Wait, 3, 2, 1, same time.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right,
3,
Scotty, you count it down.
2, 1.
Nature.
Cormega.
Authentic with the. Who did you say, the beard?
Him.
The beard. Who'd you say?
He
You
said
said it.
nature.
You were so confident.
Because look, Nature was who ended up actually being in the firm because Cormega didn't
Eventually.
sign the production deal to let them pick the beats for him that he would rap on. So he
But on
actually
day one,
opted out
though-
of the deal. Day one was Cormega.
Day 1. That's what we're talking. Not. You know what, the beard? I would give you a mercy point, but you have no chance to win this anyway.
I was so confident.
So wait, with that, he loses completely?
I lost everything.
I mean, there's
didn't
one
do
more
it.
question I can ask you guys, but you're out of
Hey.
it.
Give him the mercy point.
Give him the mercy point, so it'll be 2
Yeah.
to 1. This last
I'm a
one
good
will
Nah,
count.
sportsman.
I want a mercy point.
Give him the mercy point.
I don't
I
want
mean, he
the mercy
did
point.
name a member.
You want
Technically.
we can give this last question to just the beard, and if he gets it, give
Let's
you a
get
tire.
it. Let's get it.
Why are you
Let's
trying
get
to
it.
show mercy out there? You can't do that.
I
You
don't
gotta-
want
You
the
know how I
mercy
do.
point.
I asked him when I was younger, yo. Like, we get to 11, I'll be like, all right, we go to 16, bro. I got you. Don't even trip. I
Don't
ain't
roll
winning
your
that one
eyes
yet.
like that, the beard, man. Take it when he wants to give you a point. Take the point.
I don't want the
Take the
point.
point,
I
bro.
don't
Last
want the point.
question of the night. We have seen this band. We have seen this group live perform. Authentic, you might have performed with them. I don't remember. What is Camp Lowe's 1997 hit Lucchini all about?
Cash falling from the sky.
Yeah.
Let's get rich. Armadillo.
Money falling from the sky.
The
yeah.
answer is money. You guys both got the last
And I did
answer.
open up for them. I opened up for them at Club Live back like 2013, something like that.
And didn't they come to hip hop karaoke one night? What's that? I
That's
feel like they
the
were.
No,
Same spot.
same venue they
Oh,
did that at, but it
Man,
wasn't at that. Yup.
was fantastic.
That was a good
We saw-
concept.
we
I don't
saw
know
Black
why,
Milk there too.
Oh,
Not
Black
that
Milk,
same
that was
night,
another
but-
show. Yeah, Elzai. Yeah, there was a bunch of shows there we did, man. Yeah.
It's dead now, right? They tore it down.
Yeah,
it's not
it's
torn
just
down,
vacant.
but
It's just vacant. And it's
That's
crazy
a-
because that building has so much history, man.
Yeah.
It's the
Old jazz club.
Bohemian Caverns is underneath it, which is the old jazz club that had like Ella Fitzgerald, Marvin Gaye. I mean, every staple from like the 70s came through there. And it's unfortunate that that building is being used for nothing right now. But they
Right,
had
I
a
mean,
major pipe problem in there, Scotty. Yo, like, I did a couple shows in the Bohemian Cavern like late before they closed, bro. It was smelling like straight ass crack
Oh
in
yeah,
that
sulfur.
joint. Yeah, it was bad, yo.
That's
So they
sulfur.
had, I bet that had to do with them closing it. And I know
Sulfur?
the manager there, and he
That's
opened
bad.
up another spot. I forget the name of that spot, but it's a nice spot down there on 14th and U.
They should make that a historical significant place so they can maintain it with some government dollars. But
Yeah,
nobody
that's
has
what they
money
tried to
for
do
these
at
things. They don't
Howard
have time
Theater,
for us
man. You know, they did the whole restoration of Howard Theater because Howard Theater got destroyed in them riots back in the day, and it's been a fail. I mean, the
Taxation
people who are
without
booking it don't know what's up.
representation. Welcome
Facts.
Washington D.C. Can you give us some votes, please?
Facts.
Please? Some delegates? How about it? We'd love them.
How
All
about
right.
it?
One more commercial break. Then we're gonna get to it. The recap you've all been waiting for: New York Giants, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Be right back.
Expecting your lineup to be the only for it to turn into some Well, we can help you rectify that situation. Come chop it up with your boys, Awthentik and the Beard. The best division in football. The best division in football. Streaming live every Tuesday, every Thursday at 7 p.m.
We got big hip hop fans in here. I like this. There's a lot of people that nailed this. I don't know if you guys knew it on your own, but the
firm question. Yeah, that's what's up.
Huma nailed that right off brick. So did Sunday.
Yeah, Huma's a hip hop head.
Oh no,
definitely.
Sunday put Jay-Z. Also a New York rapper, but not the one we were looking for.
Jay-Z was going to be in the group with Biggie, the Commission.
Never panned out.
Biggie died. Rest in peace.
R.I.P. Biggie. Our last recap of the night. I don't know why I'm smiling. That's a terrible tragedy. Last recap of the evening. My face. New York Giants, Awthentik's New York Giants. They fell to Tampa Bay, and Tom Brady, 25-23. The Giants fall to 1-7 on the season, still sitting in last place. Buccaneers 6-2. Not a great game for them, but they're still sitting at the top of the NFC, looking like one of the better teams to go along with the Packers, Seahawks. It's also debatable. The Giants had on some vintage blue G-Men uniforms. Something about these color, the scheme that goes with it, it makes Tom Brady scared, fearful. He had a terrible first half, no touchdowns at all. They were down, only scoring 6 points going into the locker room. Second half, different story. Tom Brady had 2 touchdown passes, one to Mike Evans and one to his New England family guy, Rob Gronkowski. So he did it pretty good in the second half to get that W. We got to talk about Daniel Jones. He had the ball, 3 minutes to go, down by 8 points, chance to drive, chance to score, chance to go to OT. Things unfolded. Awthentik, tough game for your G-men. I really want you to dig into these last 3 minutes of the game, what you saw, how you felt, emotions. I wasn't with you, but I want to feel like I was with you, man, and I want to pick your brain. Please tell us about these last 3 minutes.
Well, before I get to the last 3 minutes, I gotta take it back to the first half where the Giants was looking fantastic, man. I mean, there's so many good things to look forward to in this first half of this game. I mean, going into the half 14-6, I think that's about the best it could possibly be for the Giants. 7-yard touchdown pass to Deion Lewis from Daniel Jones in the first quarter. I mean, placed perfectly. The kid was looking accurate early in the night. The 10-play drive in the first half that ended with the touchdown from Wayne Gallman. The Giants controlled this clock in the first half. In the end of the game, it ended up being a pretty even matchup as far as time of possession goes. But to hold the Bucs to only 5 drives in the first half, 2 field goals, 2 punts, and a turnover, it doesn't get no better playing against Tom Brady. I was smiling from ear to ear in this first half. Tim was doing a live broadcast on his channel, and I joined in there, and I told him the score. I'm like, bro, it's 14-6, man. Things are looking really good. Saw a couple of people who actually be joining us here on our shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I saw a Bluegrass Picker in there. Everybody was feeling good about it. But I just knew in the back of my mind the Giants couldn't finish this game because we've had trouble closing out the second quarter and the fourth quarter all year long. In the first half, we only committed 2 penalties. Darnay Holmes recovers the fumble. We end up scoring on that drive. That's a strip from Blake Martinez. The Giants defense didn't look that great to me in the first half, but what they did well was they played well on third down, and they shut things down when Tampa Bay would get into the red zone. So we held them to the 2 field goals in the first half, and you're looking at 6 points for the Bucs going in. I mean, everything I saw looked really good. I like what I saw from this offensive line in the first half and a bit going into the second half, and I like what I saw from the wide receiver core. We had Will Hernandez out of this game due to COVID, and Shane Lemieux, who's a rookie third rounder, came into this game, and you didn't hear anything about him during the game because he was doing his job. So solid foundation there, which I kind of thought maybe with this trade deadline happening, we might have saw the Giants maybe deal Will Hernandez, but with the COVID thing, maybe that had to do with it. Love what I saw out of the wide receiver. Sterling Shepard had a day, 8 catches, 75 yards, and Evan Ingram. And I was talking to Tim about this too. I kind of like took a large lead in my fantasy game, and I had a large margin lead there going into Monday night, and I was like, man, I should just start Evan Ingram.
I had a large lead,
Oh yeah, it was large. It was like 60 or something. It was crazy.
That's rap.
Patrick Mahomes, man, and Tyreek Hill stack, amazing. But I told him, I was like, Evan Ingram's a guy I might want to play in this game. Evan Ingram is not terrible. I know Giants fans were on him because of the drop in the Eagles game, and I know that. But he made up for it in this game. You saw the over-the-shoulder catch that he actually dropped in the first game, and he caught it the exact same way. I like to show the hands. The hands were, like this. He barely held on to it like that, So I like what I saw out of Evan Ingram in that. Darius Slayton looked good in the first half, man. The Giants come out in this game, wide open on a few plays. And Daniel Jones definitely did miss a couple to end that first half. A couple where Slayton was open in that, and he missed them. But, the Giants came into this game. The rushing is just not that good with the Giants. Tampa Bay was number 1 stopping the run. They were only allowing 3 yards per carry, and the Giants came into this game averaging 4.2 yards. Not coming into this game. We had 4.2 on the ground in this game. 24 carries on 101 yards. But this is the thing. If you take away Daniel Jones' runs, Daniel Jones had 20 yards in this game. So that would be 81 on 20 carries. Not as good. Wayne Gallman, 12 for 44. And we saw y'all boy in this game. Alfred Morris, man. Came out and he rushed okay. It didn't look good in the game. I mean, the odds says, he had a couple runs where he did look pretty old.
When was the last time that guy played football?
Had to be. That was with Dallas probably 3 years ago, probably. Yep.
Nah, he wouldn't be out that long. He's been on some practice squads. He got to be playing football. You don't just come off.
Game day action. Some game day action at least.
Yeah.
But 8 carries for 28 yards, man. And, things were going as great as they could be in that first half, man. The second half is a totally different story, and it starts just 2 plays into the second half. Daniel Jones, we're moving the ball a little bit on the first 2 plays, or the first play. He comes out on the second play and throws this interception from his own 37-yard line. And I think on that play, man, what you really see, Daniel has problems with the internal clock. And I don't think it's mentally recognizing when the internal clock runs out. I think it's when that clock runs out, what to do. Because you kind of see him kind of like hesitate and hiccup and not really be decisive on what he wants to do. So he comes out in that second play, throws that pick. And in my mind, it felt like the whole momentum completely changed, But I was trying to convince myself, like, it's just one, let it go. It shouldn't be that bad. Tampa Bay kicks the field goal there. I'm breathing a sigh of relief right there. And I'm like, that could be the one interception, the one mistake that he does that, it won't come back to bite him. And then we get down to the fourth quarter. Giants leading 17-15. 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter. 2nd and 5, which is an easy down for you to throw it away. Same exact way the pressure was barreling down on him on the one that was early in the second half. It's the same way. It's coming from the backside, and we know who that is. That's Andrew Thomas, allowing the pressure from the backside. Right, who I thought had a decent game, but these 2 times where Daniel did throw interceptions were on plays where the pressure came from the backside. One of the guys grabbed his jersey, and you could sense that he knew what was happening. All he had to do was throw it away. Instead, he's trying to force it, trying to make a play there. He ends up throwing that out to, I want to say it was Sterling Shepard, and interception number 2. And on this one, this is Tom Brady we talking about. You know what I'm saying? This is the GOAT. You cannot give him this many opportunities, Off the 2 turnovers, you got a 6-play, 66-yard drive that ends with a dart to Mike Evans. You talked about that. The other one was an 8-play, 47-yard drive that ended in a field goal. Bruce Arians got interviewed in this game. I thought I might have had the quote here.
That about Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I think I took the quote off. But no, I think that was he assessed it perfectly.
Just he pretty much said about the other team's young quarterback saying like he's trying to do too much, but he believes he can do it. It was something.
Yeah, and it was pretty much that. He said, with those 2 interceptions that basically cost him the game. That he's playing because he's trying to make plays. And he said that about Daniel Jones. He said he's a kid in his mind who thinks he can make the play every time, and today it cost him the game. Both those interceptions, bonehead plays, but you did see it in the fourth quarter where he threw it. He did get one where he threw it away. But you can't give Tom Brady those kind of opportunities. And along with that, our defense was being sliced on those 2 drives where Tom Brady comes down and puts up the 10 points. Giants have the lead going into that 17-15. And then you allow Tom Brady to come down. But you got to know if you're going to give Tom Brady these kind of chances that can happen. The Giants went 3 and out, 2 interceptions to start that second half pretty much, and a punt.
And the thing that's crazy is I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but Max Kellerman had the crazy comment and said that if you put Nick Foles on this Tampa Bay team, that they'd be 6-2 also. And I think that's the most asinine thing ever. There's no way that don't take me wrong, not to take anything away from this Tampa Bay team and how good they are defensively and the amount of studs they have on their team. But let's be realistic. There's no way Nick Foles has a Tampa Bay team 6-2.
There's not a chance.
Nick Foles doesn't beat the Giants last night with This Tampa Bay team.
He was
There's
saying
only-
because the skill players and defense is so good, because the Giants scored 23 points against them. The Giants averaged like 10 points a game, 11 points a game.
It was just, to me, like, I thought that
They're
was the
good,
craziest thing. So you guys will also disagree with that statement.
You know why Max Kellerman said that is because Max Kellerman has been saying that thing about Tom Brady for 3 to 4 years now, that Tom Brady was supposed to fall off the cliff when he turned 38. And Tom Brady has not fell off no cliff. There's only one Nick Foles that could play in this offense, and it's that Nick Foles, who actually the first debut Nick Foles we saw when he started off his year, 19 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He didn't play the whole year. You remember that? Tom Brady since week 3. 17 touchdowns, 1 interception.
It's crazy.
Get out of here, Max Kellerman.
It's
Just get out of here, bro.
Better than ever. He's
Get outta
43
here,
years
man.
old.
Get outta here.
How old is he? Good God.
Before
Yeah.
I forget, I want to answer this question, even though it's directed at Awthentik. That was an absolutely horrible call.
But didn't they pick that flag up?
No. You thinking about the hit across the middle. This was Cameron Brate caught the ball on the sideline, lowered his head,
man, that
and
one
they
was
called.
terrible. I remember that
They
one.
called the helmet to helmet on the defender. But that was an absolutely
the receiver
ridiculous
was
call.
the one who was initiating all the contact, and he kind of just tried to just take the hit, and they did hit helmet to helmet. But you got to call that if you're going to throw that flag, which I don't think you should.
Throw
call
it on the offense.
Yeah, man, that's crazy, man.
Absolutely horrible call.
And then the one that they did pick up the other one though on 2nd and 20, right?
Yeah. The
Now,
one
and I want to talk about that too. The Giants get the Bucks backed up to 2nd and 20. And you, on the next play, you allow them to pick up 19, 20 yards, get the first down just barely. Our defense, and I think this goes for all defenses kind of in this year, minus Pittsburgh Steelers, maybe minus the Ravens, minus the Bears. But the defensive numbers are a little bit inflated. I mean, they've had New York as one of the top 15 defenses all year long. And I'm watching these games. The Giants are getting off the field pretty decent on 3rd down, but our defense is getting sliced. Yo, we got sliced in this game completely. That secondary is looking like Swiss cheese. And James Bradbury, who had a great, fantastic first half, comes out in the second half and has 2 big penalties and did not have a good day in the second half. The Giants, and I said this, I didn't want to question Joe Judge as far as the culture goes, right? But, like, how do you come out the first half, play such a great first half, right? Only 2 penalties. Very disciplined. Then you come out in the second half, and you get 5 penalties in the 4th quarter.
That's been a
when you
theme,
need
though.
to close out. It has been a theme.
Like,
And
fourth
it's
quarter
like, who do we
penalties out of
blame?
nowhere.
Are these bonehead plays by the players, or are we not instilling that kind of
Is it
regimen
conditioning?
into the players
Like,
from the
are they
coaching?
running out of air in the 4th and they're becoming undisciplined because they're tired? Like, you're right. There's
a
really
lot
no
of
way to
Giants fans have said that about the defense, Scotty. I know Bad Dog was saying that, and Entertainer was saying that during the broadcast. They were saying, like, they're gassed.
That's when you make mistakes. As far as defenders, like when you hold people and you're like, you're doing illegal things, a lot of times because you're out of breath and you're like, I have to cheat if I don't want to lose my job. So
then the Giants might need to build some more depth on this defense. And we had Ryan Lewis was out with a hamstring injury, which was a good thing for me. And Isaac Yiadom came in and played fantastic, who he struggled in the first 2 starts they gave him this year. But he had 8 tackles in this game and 1 pass deflection. So I like what I saw out of him, and he might be the guy that we could stick out there on the corner because, I think it's like, with especially when you're judging quarterbacks and young teams like this team is really how you lose. The Giants was in this game. They was right there, and they collapsed again. Same thing goes with the Eagles. The Eagles game, we collapsed there. This is 2 straight games where we had a 10-point lead going into the 4th quarter or whatever.
What was the stat you said?
And
It was
blew
like
it.
6 of the 7 games or 7 of the 8 games you guys have been within a touchdown, 1 possession.
Yeah,
Something like that? I mean,
it's 6 of the 7 or 7 of the 8 have been 10 points or under. 4 of those were within a score, within a touchdown.
nobody but a Giants fan smoking crack came into the season thinking the Giants were going to win the Super Bowl. So
No way.
with you come in not thinking that, this is what you want to see, bro. Progression.
Yeah,
and
it is,
losing good.
and I think what's disheartening to the Giants fans is
Jones.
when your quarterback has the chances. Daniel Jones had the opportunities in this game to put them away plenty of times, and coming out in the second half was number 1. And granted, on the last drive, he balled out on the last drive, but there was 2 miracle plays on that. We talked about that,
Oh,
Tim.
the one
2
play,
4th downs.
The one play I texted
Fourth and 19?
Awthentik. I was like, well, not the one where like
One was 4th and 7, one
where
was
he went
4th
like
and
back
16.
and then up and then came back into the defender that was behind him and then threw it. Like it was.
Was that the
New
shorter
York
one or the
Times
longer
football.
one?
That was a shorter one. I
The
think.
shorter one. And honestly, that one, Daniel Jones didn't even really, I mean, he did a good job to keep the play alive, but Darius Slayton really makes the play.
Yeah, because he came back to get to...
Daniel Jones just lobbed that thing up in the flats.
he came back and made the catch.
It's literally the same exact throw that he threw on his second interception to Sterling Shepard. Same way.
Exactly.
But Darius Slayton said, nah, I'm not about to just sit out here and let my quarterback throw another pick, and he worked his way back to that ball, caught it, and then got the yards to get the first down. So you're looking at 2 fourth-down plays that were, I was saying prayers, bro.
Like, no lie. Darius Slayton, he could have had 180 yards in that game.
Yeah, he missed. Daniel Jones missed him on at least 2 plays downfield. But look,
I don't know who was covering.
There was the other one too. Before we move on from that
dude,
it was the other one, to Sterling Shepard. That I watched this live broadcast with Bad Dog and them, and a lot of people were arguing about this one back and forth with the overthrow to Sterling Shepard, whether that was on Daniel Jones just missing it, or if Sterling Shepard stopped in the route and let up. And I thought he let up a little bit, which then caused the timing to be a little bit weird. But we cannot overlook that these guys don't have chemistry because they don't play together a lot.
Exactly.
Injuries.
And look, for me too, this is the thing from an outsider looking in, and I am obviously like, there's a lot of similarities here with Jones and Haskins, right? So in sense of just like, their play and how the fans perceive their play and the leashes that they're given are what's different, right? But with Jones, I really, like, obviously I'm not a Giants fan, so it's like I'm not as eager to like give him the boot, because I have seen so many instances of him and his ability to, like, I feel like he has this sort of thing where he can become this it factor quarterback that wins you these games that he's not winning right now.
Yeah.
Now, my main concern is, and this coming from a Redskins fan or a Washington football team fan who has had quarterbacks in the past that kind of have like this PTSD thing. So it's like they've been sacked so many times and their offensive line has let them down so many times that no matter what they do, it literally messes up their psyche when the pressure's coming, right? And I think that's...
And Scotty, I said the same thing when he was first telling me this off air too. I said, I don't think that's the case with him, because he literally shakes off the interceptions and then comes out there and recklessly, just slinging the ball everywhere he wants to, throwing crazy throws while he's being dragged down.
Is he Jay Cutler? Is that the comparison for Daniel Jones right now?
You hit it, yo, that's
early Jay Cutler. I'm talking about
on the button
before he was good, because he had some good seasons.
Or it could be late Jay Cutler too, because Jay Cutler had that short window with Brandon Marshall where he was on fire.
Bro, he'd make a throw, and you're like, this is an amazing throw, and then he'd throw interception. You're like, this is like Ben DiNucci.
Yes. Now I want to get to a question in the chat, and I'm gonna risk the little copyright thing here. It ain't gonna be too crazy.
Yeah. Before we get to that, really fast, the main point I'm trying to make is that I think that it comes down to with him specifically throwing the ball away and just like his decision making and running and dropping off of the read, like on those plays that he missed Slayton downfield when he was open, there was pressure coming and he just let go of that read and immediately was like, I got to do something else. And then just kind of like doesn't make a solid decision.
The first one he didn't even look at him. He never even looked that way. So it's like that happens. I see that a lot. You see that with Russell Wilson. You can see that with a lot of quarterbacks. But to this question right here, Daniel Jones threw the ball late on the 2-point conversion. I'm about to share something that I put on my Twitter with y'all, and let me see if I can get this up here.
What's the gist of it?
He's saying, you see the question on screen, Daniel Jones threw the ball late on the 2-point conversion. Let's make this full screen if you can, Tim. Oh, it's pretty full screen here. Now, look at that. The ball is out of Daniel Jones' hand right there. It's perfect timing. The problem with the throw is that it's inaccurate. It's 3 yards behind him. You need to be throwing this ball out to that pylon that's right there up at the top of the screen. Instead, I showed this play to my girlfriend. I said, you see this freeze frame right here. If you have $5,000, you think he's gonna make this catch and it's gonna be a touchdown? And she don't even know schemes of football, none. She was like, oh yeah, he's wide open. 31 clamps down. This ball, when he throws this ball, it's not that it's late, it's lollipopped. It has no zip on it and it's inaccurate.
Hey, so, you got to give Gretzel some credit, dude. She's watched thousands of hours of football sitting. So,
for sure.
Somebody was open. That's open.
I always try to game her on this, and I like to see that because, I'll be studying these plays. I'll be looking at play breakdown and all kind of stuff. But you got to look at this kind of in the layman's terms, like just regular football fan. Like, yo, that's a touchdown if you put that ball out there by that pylon. And Daniel Jones misses the target, but now there's something also you got to look at real closely.
It looks worse on the video, man. This freeze frame makes it look like a good
I'll text you. I will text you the video. I will text you.
I mean, I've seen the video.
It's a lollipop throw, bro.
Everywhere. Oh,
it's a lollipop throw.
And
now look, and this is what I was about to get to before you said that, is look at number 70 on the line. Look at the player with his hands up right there, and that's why Daniel Jones had to throw the ball high right there. And we could get rid of that screen share, right? But with that pass, it was not a thing about being late. He makes the read perfectly. And when you look at it on the video, you can see Daniel Jones actually drops the shoulder before Deion Lewis comes out of the route because he's ready to throw before he broke out of the route.
The ball, where the ball placement was, you're 100% right. That's supposed to be on the pylon where the guy's catching it in stride as he's running, even maybe arms extended, so it has no chance to be touched.
Yes, which makes me think that Daniel Jones might have trouble with this pass because, look, the second interception to Sterling Shepard is this exact kind of throw. It's right outside the hash marks.
It's dangerous.
While you're running an out pass, it is dangerous, but every NFL quarterback, if you watch the combine, this is the throw that they practice.
Yeah.
That and the deep out. I mean, if you can't hit the deep out or that flat route, like accurately 80% of the time,
yes,
you're not going to be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Yes, Clutch B-Ball. Shout out to you, bro. Danny Green in the building. Count these chips. Let's go. Let's go. I'm telling you.
Do you think the game was like a one-off, though? Because, I mean, Daniel Jones, to me, his deep play accuracy has been one of his better things in the beginning of the season. He's thrown interceptions, but they haven't been on deep balls. And this is the worst game I've seen him throw as far as accuracy is concerned. So I don't think it's been a trend. Issues. So, maybe this is a one-off as far as that's concerned. The interceptions are still bad, but the accuracy, I mean, he lost the game for sure.
And this is the other thing that I think a lot of people want to hear opinions on also is, do we think that play was a pass interference? They ended up picking up the flag, but they did throw it initially. Do you guys think it was a pass interference on that play?
100% a pass interference on that play. Tough to make that call late in the game, but if you're going to call the PI that you called on James Bradbury on the deep route, where he literally, his arm was underneath the other wide receiver's armpit, and he removed the arm so that it wouldn't look crazy and it wouldn't look like it was a strong pass interference, and they still call it. On this one, I mean, I saw Shannon and Skip Bayless break this play down this morning, and they had Antonio Rodgers-Cromartie on air with them as well, and he's a cornerback, and he said, it's a pop play where it's like, I don't want that called on me. Shannon Sharp, I was about to say Sterling. Shannon Sharp was like, that's 100% a pass interference call. So offensively, you want the call. Defensively, you definitely don't want the call. And they asked Rodgers-Cromartie at the end of the broadcast, have you had calls like that called on you before, pass interference? And he said, 100%.
And Joe Judge was livid.
Of course. What did he say?
He
said
that man down.
That's what he said.
That's exactly what
and you could read his lips. He took the mask off to say it.
It was twice. Not just once, but twice.
And going back to the last drive real quick, before the two-point conversion, these are the things that we see in Daniel Jones where people are like, man, he could be that quarterback. It's a 13-play drive that ends with a dart to Golden Tate in the back of the end zone. Perfect.
That was the tough throw.
Tough throw, and he stood in the pocket. If you go back and rewind that play, he takes a shot, stands right in the pocket, and just delivers the ball. And Golden Tate looked at the cameras and said, "Throw me the ball."
He didn't look happy either. It was like
he did not look happy.
Like,
and Tim was telling me some. Oh
his
no,
girl.
It wasn't Tim. It was Patrick was telling me the story about his wife that came out, and they taking that out of context. Probably she probably said that somewhere on a YouTube live or something, and they want to use that.
Now these writers got to get better, man. And she wrote it out on Snapchat.
Come on, man. Yo, journalism is dead.
It didn't look bad though. She was real respectful. She was like, he's probably gonna make me take this down or delete it. I don't know why I'm giving her that voice, but.
Yeah,
like, he's
but
like
still,
that,
if you're a writer, that's the story you picked to write about. It's kind of ridiculous. So, I mean, Daniel Jones, it's like, you throw the awesome dart, but then on the two-point conversion, that's your fault. You definitely threw a bad throw. But we lost that game earlier in the third and fourth quarter in that game with the two major interceptions from Daniel Jones and another collapse from everybody that was around him on this, man. Everyone played worse in the second half than they did in the first half, and I'm sure Joe Judge gave them the pep talk at the half. Let's finish out this game. They did a decent job of finishing out the second quarter. I will give them that, but fourth quarter-wise, man, this team still struggling, man. Still struggling to close these teams out because they don't know how to win.
So I want to make – Go ahead, Booms.
My real quick, I think that the Giants – I love this coaching staff, though. I think Joe Judge, Patrick Graham, I mean, Garrett's even doing his thing. Like the game plan's a little bit vanilla, but I think that might be because of Daniel Jones limitations at this point. But I love Patrick Graham, and I think Joe Judge should be here for the next 10 years.
Yeah, and I like Jason Garrett over here too. You saw a good amount of RPO in this game. You even saw a reverse pass from Golden Tate to like Wayne Gallman or something.
They put him in a chance to win.
On the first drive of the game.
On
the first drive of the game, you know, that says a lot about him, that he's willing to try plays that are like outside of the vanilla kind of vibe, you know. So I do like the game plan that he called, but this is the problem with the Giants, man. We got no real dog in the running, you know, in the backfield running the ball.
And that plays a role for a quarterback. Like we talk about it all the time. Like it's just like, you know, not every quarterback is built the same. Most quarterbacks need a running game in order to be a great quarterback, because that's just the way that it works. Like you maybe have 5 quarterbacks in the league, tops, that can do it without a running game. Everybody else has to have some form of a running game. Now, my 2 points that I wanted to, you know, touch on, the first thing is I thought that this was the second game in a row, at least, where the Giants' defensive line played exceptional. I don't know what it is. I might be a little overhyping it, but I really like the Giants' defensive front. I think
first half, though, Tim.
First half. Yeah.
You know, and Leonard Williams showing up
that's
every game.
That's my guy.
Sack.
That's my guy.
Yeah, man.
I've been talking about him the last 2 weeks. He just I like him a lot. I think he's
solid
everywhere.
But the Giants got no edge rushers like that. That's the problem.
That's the thing. They need somebody coming off the edge. But I like where they're going. I like the foundation that they have on the defensive front.
And a lot of Giants fans will tell you that Leonard Williams, he might not be back here next year. Most likely.
If I'm the Giants, I'm making sure that guy is back.
And that's how I feel. I go into these chats and I feel like I'm one of the only people that's saying that. We got to find a way to sign Leonard Williams. He makes the young boy even better. You know, he makes Lawrence even better.
I like those exactly.
Yeah,
I like those two together. I think that's
great run stoppers,
foundation.
man. You know, you can really stop the run with them, and then you just got to focus on getting the right people in the secondary to make these plays. But you saw it. Tom Brady was missing some throws in this game. They were wide open, and the separation from the wide receivers in this game was pretty large for the most part of this game. Late in the game, I saw us stopping Scotty Miller a lot along the sidelines, trying to get him wheel routes and plays down the field. We did do a good job of taming him. But, I mean, I just think, man, Mike Evans on the fade route, a lot of stuff across the middle.
Yeah, the pressure was inconsistent, which is what it was, because Tom Brady is like, you know, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers are very similar in this way to me, where, like, if you give them, because, like, they both will get rid of the rock super quick, right?
Yeah.
But if you give them longer than what they're supposed to have, they're going to eat you alive. They're always going to find the hole in the zone if you give them longer than what they're supposed to have. And then the other thing is I wanted to ask you was, you know, you saw the way Daniel Jones performed on that final drive, right? And we've talked about this a lot previously with Dwayne Haskins about how he performs better in that sort of a quick style offense. Do you think that that's something that maybe the Giants should look into running more?
I like
picking up the pace of the offense for Daniel
definitely
Jones?
like the point that you're making there, but if you look back at that last drive, we got the ball with like 3 minutes, 13 seconds left. We had no timeouts, and they were not in a rush the whole drive. It was very slow, very methodical.
For a 2-minute drive, but still
But here's the thing. It wasn't that successful of a drive when you really look at it, minus the touchdown that he threw to Golden Tate, because you got 2 fourth downs, man.
Right.
You know, he was not looking that good. It was literally last-ditch efforts from him, man. I swear to you, I was saying prayers, bro. Like, please, please give me a miracle. I switched my hat like 5 times. Entertainer put the hoodie down, put the hoodie up. He said the hoodie down ain't working. But then I noticed on the 2-point conversion, he put the hoodie back on. I was like, yo, what you doing, Tainer? And then, bam, you get the bad throw from Daniel Jones. It was ugly, and I was really looking for a miracle, man. But, like, you know, maybe he could benefit from the faster style play. But I think he has to get a better grasp of the offense, and you did see that in this game. A lot of people were like, you know, Jason Garrett, why are you running the screen on 3rd and 11? A lot of those plays, Daniel Jones was checking out of him from the line and making his own call. So I do like seeing that from him. The kid definitely is getting a better grasp of his offense. It's just the turnovers, and it's like, how long do you wait?
That's what it is.
You know, when did they get rid of Jameis Winston? How many years into his career? Was it after the third year?
4th year.
They went all the way through his rookie contract.
Yeah.
And the rookie contracts are 4 years now? Is that?
5 if you can.
4 with a 5th-year option, right?
Yeah.
4 with the 5th-year option. You know, so, and I felt like there were times with Jameis Winston where you still were like, can he get it? You know, can he get it together?
And he'll get another shot too. And that was one of my points with the Max Kellerman thing. They were like, I was like, yeah, Jameis Winston is in my opinion, could possibly better than Nick Foles at this point right now, the way Nick Foles looks in a Bears uniform. And they didn't win those games. So I think Tom Brady is a different beast when you put him in that lineup. But also, last one on Daniel Jones. That touchdown pass, though, before the 2-point conversion was an absolute beautiful pass. Great
throw.
Absolutely beautiful.
Stepped into it, high up, beautiful throw. And I want to add one quick thing about this game. I don't know if y'all remember the game last year. Evan Ingram against the Bucs had a day. He had an 80-yard touchdown in that game. He showed up in this game as well. And that game ended up coming down to a last-second field goal from Matt Gay. And the Bucs got rid of Matt Gay in the offseason, and they signed Ryan Suckup, who I believe kicked for the Tennessee Titans the previous year.
He single-handedly beat me in fantasy football.
And this guy was 4 for 4 in this game. Matt Gay was 3 for 4 in that game. He missed the last field goal that actually got Daniel Jones his first career win. So, kudos to the Bucs for making the adjustment on that and getting the right kicker in this game, who kept him in it, kicking the 2 field goals in the first half, and got the third field goal off the Daniel Jones turnover and a late field goal with the 10 to get them the real lead that really solidified this game, because we were trying to climb down from 8 and get the touchdown, get the 2-point conversion to force overtime. I feel like it could have been a lot better if we could have maybe stopped one of these field goals, and made it where a touchdown would have won that game, and Giants walk out of here with a victory if he doesn't make those 4 for 4 kicks.
Ryan Suckup, man, that's the guy, like the kicker, gets ignored by everybody on the team 90% of the time. But after a game like that, you come in the locker room, boy, everybody's coming to catch up, right?
Champagne, all that. Yeah, they was probably celebrating.
Hit me up before the club tonight. He's like, I don't even know your name. I just got signed here. What's up?
No clubs though. No clubs though. No clubs.
Yeah, no COVID clubs.
Club COVID. You think? Oh, really?
Yo, that might be a hit right now. We do club COVID. So? You got to show up in like an astronaut mask.
Your company's pretty close to what it is, man. You know speakeasies in D.C., Steve. You better believe these cities got them too for these athletes. How you think they're all getting it, man? They're going out. They're definitely
going out. I'll be seeing people on my gram on their stories, man. They be going crazy, be in a room with 20, 30 people with no mask on. Come on,
drinking,
man.
Beer up.
If you're going to be in a room of 40 plus with no mask on, you better be in church saying prayers you don't get that COVID straight up.
You're rolling
the dice. What really be blowing me is people that wear the mask.
Oh, and then
and they just like drop it down to talk. Like, bruh, I can hear you with the mask on. I don't need you to pull it off, first of all. And second of all, it's like, why? What's the point? Like,
what kind of mask y'all guys use?
Get it together, America.
Y'all use blue hospital masks, or y'all use the sleeves, or what do you guys use?
Look, I got a couple different vibes. When I go out to like some bigger event, I got the mask that look like Darth Vader looking vibes. Yeah, painter Joan. I got a little cheap cloth one that, if I need some style to go in the mix, it's all black, goony looking joint. I got a couple different ones.
But I like the medical one because let me tell you, like, I got my nose is sensitive, right? So like, some of these masks, they be made with like polyurethane.
Yo, he's not lying about the sensitive nose, yo. You should hear this guy. He blows his nose in the morning. It's like, gah! You're like, bruh. Well, I guess I'm up now.
So like, I can't, like, it makes me like, I remember when we went to, I had bought some cheap medical masks. It was like a backup when we went to OC. And like we was walking back to the car, I was wearing the mask and my nose just started running crazy. Like it was just itching crazy. I was just like, I can't wear this mask. Like I got to have one of them good medical masks that do the trick. You know what I'm saying?
I will tell you the painter's mask, bro, like you wear that joint for like 5 seconds, you can't breathe. The oxygen coming in through that thing is terrible.
Not enough. That's why I started wearing just the pull-up. I don't even know what you call it. Just like the
neck mask.
Oh, the cloth joints. But I heard
tell you right now, it does nothing.
I'm making shit up.
No, you're right.
Copper wire got the neck. Copper wire got the neck mask. The high quality copper wire neck mask.
I'm about to go out and get me a Andy Reid shield joint. I be seeing people
in the grocery store with that. I don't know why everyone's not doing though. It's a lot of distance though. You're talking about like, you gotta clear it now.
Look, it can come up from the bottom though.
Oh yeah, you can wear it upside down.
Doesn't work because particles jump in the top. So
you're right. Like they Russell Wilson under. Deep passes.
Right. They're not coming.
Ben Nago says it's called a neck gator.
A neck gator.
I'll tell you right now, it's worthless. I can breathe way too easy. I'm like, you know what? This is probably not safe. I need to get
The ultimate test is if you put like a candle or a lighter in front of the mask, and if you can blow it out through the mask is no good. That's a test.
Oh, I think the Net Gators, they do have official
hot
ones.
breath test.
And if you're talking about that doggo, I'll give you that. They do have official ones, but mine is just like
a turtleneck.
It's what I use when I cut lawns. It's for cutting grass.
Look, so they want to know when we close out this Giants segment. Do you think Daniel Jones comes back next year?
At this point, yeah. If they didn't trade him at the deadline, I think we'll see Daniel Jones back. But I do also think it is dependent upon how many games we win, because if they get the number 1 pick, they're not going to pass up.
If the season ended today, Awthentik, would you take, and you had the number 2 pick, would you take a quarterback?
I mean, I'd lean more picking the quarterback at number 1 with Trevor Lawrence, and if it's not him, then I'm probably sticking with Daniel Jones, and I might try to trade out of that pick and try to get some high value for it.
That's what I would do. Because look,
that change for you in the next 8 games.
Say it again.
That change for you in the next 8 games. If he doesn't look better than he's looked.
I think I know what I got in Daniel Jones right now. I really do. 8 games is a big sample size. With 8 more games, he could probably just get a better grasp of his offense and hold it down even a little bit more. I really think he's capable, man. And a lot of the thing about Jameis Winston was it was a lot of interceptions. Mm-hmm. With Daniel Jones, the interceptions, if it was just the interceptions, I don't think people would be losing their mind as bad. It's them fumbles as well. When you lead the league in fumbles in 2019, and then you come into 2020 and you right up there at the top of the league with fumbles, people are like, bro, you turning into a turnover machine.
But has he lost that many fumbles in the last 3 weeks?
No, in the last 3 weeks he hasn't. He cleaned it up.
Weeks, right?
But when you add those 2 statistics together, it's him and Carson Wentz at the top of the league.
Look, I read a stat that no quarterback in his first, I forget how many games it's been. Has it been 24 games?
It's Ryan Leaf.
Yeah, Ryan Leaf. Yep. They were talking about that. But look at the other statistics from Daniel Jones. His passing yards and all that don't look like Ryan Leaf.
No, I mean,
Ryan Leaf is a jerk. You
can tell eye test that he's not Ryan Leaf. But I always thought that it's interesting how they be trying to twist stuff like that.
I got to go back and look at the Ryan Leaf roster too, man, because if it was a thing around him
that was Natron Means at running back.
Natron Means wasn't that great. He was all right. That's not a running back you want to rely on. I mean, in the 90s, that it sounded like it would have worked. You know what I mean? But did he have any wide receivers? You know what I mean? Was anybody else out there?
I don't know. It's a good question.
I'm going to go back and look at it for sure.
Look at that roster.
Because, back then, you didn't have the media coverage that you have now. Now, when somebody has a bad roster around them, you immediately know it. And somebody said this, Skip Bayless said this today. He was like, yeah, but, Daniel Jones got all these weapons around him. Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram, Darius Slayton, Golden Tate. And it's like, those guys sound good. If you get them all in their peak and put them all up in one barrel, it might be all right, but realistically, they haven't been showing out this year or last year. Golden Tate has been we're paying him way too much.
Yeah, if I'm the Giants and I get the number 2 pick, I'm trading it. And if I probably would draft a quarterback, but I wouldn't draft him in the first round. This quarterback class is super deep. I think you're going to see, bank it now, I think you're going to see 5 quarterbacks taken in the top 10 picks.
Okay, but you're talking about taking
what teams,
quarterback
Tim?
Later on when you got a guy who wasn't the number 1 consensus quarterback, Daniel Jones, who wasn't regarded as like a top 4 or 5 guy. Yeah. And now you're going to trade back to do the same thing to Beard? I mean, either you roll with Jones or you get the high quarterback.
But I'm just saying, like, maybe you take a guy in the 3rd or 4th round. That's
a high draft pick for a quarterback if you're not going to take one in the first.
Man, I don't. If you're the Giants, you don't do that. I don't think so. Because Daniel Jones is not. When you see Daniel Jones right now, you don't see an awful quarterback. Because you see what he can do well. What you would have to do as a coach is clean it up. You really got to clean it up. And it's going to start on the offensive line. He needs the kind of line that Aaron Rodgers be behind, where he's sitting in the pocket and he's able to scan the field. And the one thing that Aaron Rodgers has is that he's confident in that pocket. And Daniel Jones, that's the problem why the internal clock is giving him trouble, is because when it breaks down, he doesn't know, should I just throw this away? Well, we're not a good team. I need to make a play is what he's thinking.
That's he tries to make plays. That was really good when you said that, Awthentik. I didn't think about it that way, but like he has an internal clock, but when it does hit 0, he's lost. And that's what makes Russell Wilson great. His athleticism, I think, is comparable to Russell Wilson, where they're not running for like 70-yard, breaking people's ankles, but they're way fast enough to get out of the pocket and get extra yards. But Russell Wilson, you see it. As soon as that clock hits 0 and he's got nobody, he's gone. There's no second thought.
He makes
out.
the decision.
Kyler
And
does it too,
I got to
as well,
commend
for young
Dwayne
guys.
Haskins for that because he knew he didn't have all the intangibles. So when the play will break down, he would immediately try to make a decision and react on it. But everything about Haskins was slow. You know, when he went to go wind up to just throw the ball away, it's slow. You know, you saw the 40 time coming into the combine. I'm faster than Dwayne Haskins. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. You know, that makes
his body type. I mean, he didn't look. I mean, he got cut in the offseason stuff, but if you're slow, you're slow. It doesn't matter how trim you are. You know what I mean? That's like a natural type thing. You can't.
Yeah,
really
he
prove
just
that
doesn't have the natural speed. But he does make quick decisions. I did like that. And Daniel Jones, sometimes you see him where he hangs in that pocket and then he just kind of stumbles out and he's not tackled and then he runs for 10, 12 yards, gets a first down. You've seen it a lot, you know?
Right.
So it's like we're
Which
kind of
gets him
trying to
into
take the
trouble.
good with the bad.
Right, because that can get him into trouble. Like we were talking about, Eli didn't have that. Eli was a pocket passer. He would sit there. So he would fumble occasionally, but Daniel Jones almost causes, because he can extend plays, that can also get him into more trouble than Eli ever got in. So Eli has interception problems. Jones is worse, but maybe that's why Jones's numbers are so inflated.
And I saw two things in this game from Daniel. You know, late in the fourth quarter, he went to correct the mistakes, and I got to commend that too, because 2 times in the third quarter, he threw those interceptions where he was trying to make a play and not trying to make the smart play. The one being on 2nd and 5, which that's really unacceptable. Live to see another down, right?
Right.
But in the fourth quarter, you saw him when the pressure started barreling down on him, he got rid of the ball. Then on the last touchdown to Golden Tate, you see him step right up in the pocket and throw that touchdown. And even on that drive, there was another play where the offensive line broke down and he tried to climb and step up in the pocket and he took a sack. It was a tough sack. But I like seeing that out of him because in previous games this year, you see him when the pressure comes from the edge, Daniel Jones trying to backpedal. And I like seeing him step up in the pocket. I think that's a good thing for him.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, you guys got anything else you want to talk about this game real fast? Recapping?
Nah, I mean, I think that's it, man. Just a really tough loss, man. I know Giants Nation is suffering it, you know, and I sat down on the 2-point conversion just so I wouldn't lose my mind because I was in here watching that game in the studio. I was punching chairs. I was throwing. Entertainer lost his cool. When the interception happened the second time, he swiped his beer or something like off the table, and all you heard was silence and just gadoosh. Like, I'm like, I ain't never seen my man get that heated. And Bad Dog was like, dang, Entertainer, you got a little bad dog in you right there because it's so frustrating watching this team, man. You know, and like I said in the beginning of this breakdown, man, it's not just losing. It's how you lose when you're in these games and you poised to win the game and then you collapse and lose the game. It makes it really tough on the fan base. But Daniel Jones, a lot of good things in this game, but also a lot of bad. I'm looking forward to seeing this game against Washington, man, coming up, and I'm looking forward to that preview because that's going to be a good game.
Oh man, it's a must-win game for both teams.
Yeah,
right,
it's definitely a must-win.
Bear, send us off real quick. Give us something to chew on here.
Once again, you know, the love is real. We appreciate everybody's support. Definitely hit that thumbs up if you guys can. It helps us out a lot. It helps this video get out to the public. Shout out to everybody who's checking us out on Twitch, Facebook, and Periscope. There we go. Yep. And I hope everybody voted today. If you out on the West Coast, you still got another hour left to vote. So if you haven't voted, it's not too late. I'm getting ready to, you know, take the trash out, sit down on the couch and watch how this unfolds. And then after tonight, it's right back into the studying of the Washington football team. And big game coming up. So, yeah, like Awthentik said, I'm excited for this one. It kind of is like bittersweet, too, because we should be going to this game. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what? And we got to talk about that, man. I did see tickets are available for that game. I saw some tickets.
What's good? I'm in.
I might be down. I saw some tickets. I'm definitely getting me that Andy Reid mask if we go out there.
Expensive. Right?
Man, I saw them around $90. I saw them around $90, man. I think that's not too bad, man.
We gotta have to test the hot spot at FedEx first.
It's gonna be good.
Oh yeah, and even if we did some slight coverage, you know, we don't got to do like play-by-play. We can't be in the stadium doing play-by-play. I mean,
you had that funny Chris segment last year. I think that was pretty funny when y'all snuck in. My man just walked in the stadium.
Oh yeah, like, that's right. To lead off, we got to bring that back for this year.
Yo, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Awthentik, man. Give him some words. Send him off right.
Yo, thanks again to everybody in the chat, man. Faithfuls, man. Big Blue Nation, I appreciate y'all being in here. I know there's a lot of great Giants content creators out here, and I thought today was going to be an interesting day. And I try to show my love to everybody as well. I popped into Kid Blues live stream with the hub. That was awesome. Everybody looked devastated at the end of the game, but it was a great stream by those fellas. Great stream by Bad Dog and Entertainer. Cop Pizzle did a stream for the second half. I didn't get to check out a lot of that, but I definitely went to his Twitter, showed him some love. And the Giants community is just popping on Twitter all in all, and it's good to see that when a team is 1-7 that we all ain't down and out. It's New York Giants football, and I'll leave y'all with this, man. We got to be loyal to the soil, 100.
Loyal to the soil, man. That's good. Where'd you get that from?
All right.
My bro used to say that back in the day.
All right. Well, thanks again for tuning in to our Tuesday night show. We had a little technical difficulties. We know we ran a little late. We appreciate your loyalty for sticking through it. Like the Beard was saying, hope you got out there and voted today. We do not have government by the majority. We have government by the majority who participate. That's Thomas Jefferson. I just Googled that quote and read it.
I like that. I like that.
Right now.
I like that.
Thanks again for tuning in. Get your cup of coffee. Turn on your CNN. Turn on your Fox, whatever you like to watch. Check out the selection tonight. We will see you on Thursday for our preview show. Washington's back in action. Should be a lit episode. Have a beautiful evening. See you Thursday. Best Division Football.